Joel Embiid down the lane, and he's going to get fouled on the two-handed dunk attempt. You can see Embiid, not a ton of explosion right now with that knee tendonitis issue and the fact that he's gained a little bit of weight due to his inactivity.
Yeah, and we've also seen a progression to the mean for Toronto's shooting. I thought that was a huge part of Philly's first half success was that Toronto was missing open shots. And, I would say they've maybe made more of them in this quarter than I would expect, but that balances out.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto missed a few open ones, but I thought in large part their looks were not particularly good. Gasol, probably the one who was missing the most.
And
Siakam above
Danny
the
Green
break.
missed a couple.
Yeah, Siakam above the break, is not that reliable of a shooter. The big change that has really helped Philly has been going to Joel Embiid on Siakam, opening him up for more help action, taking him out of the pick and roll, and Toronto has struggled to score around the rim with Embiid in the game tonight. Leonard off the Gasol screen. He rolls to the basket. They've been trying to post Gasol more here. He's being guarded by Jonah Bolden right now. Looking to get into the post again. Good entry from Siakam. Gasol likes to roll across the lane for the hook. The double comes. Now Leonard's going to have to create. I don't know if he got this off. And he did not. Shot clock violation.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit late. And when a guy catches with 2 seconds left and tries to do a dribble escape into a shot, generally that's going to be a shot clock violation.
Kawhi having another sterling game for him. Jimmy Butler was 4 3-point attempts or 4 made threes in the first half. Norman Powell now swings it to Redick. Ibaka falls down. They swing it now. Bolden, good closeout by Siakam. He's been covering so much ground in this quarter. Ibaka fighting Embiid down low in the post. That leads the jack by Butler. That's off. Butler sprinting back to get into the play. They throw it back to Powell. He's got a wide open left corner three set up for Siakam that goes off. But Ibaka with the offensive rebound, and they'll reset.
Nice tip when he couldn't control it.
Here's the screen. Leonard going at Bolden, and he'll pick up the foul. Kawhi Leonard, always so patient, but he's got that burst just for a quick second to get by guys, and Bolden fouls him, and Leonard can bring Toronto back within 2 once again.
The possession game in this one has been pretty interesting. Toronto, big advantage on the turnover front, 16-7 right now in their advantage, and most of those have been dead ball. It's only 7 steals for Toronto, but then offensive rebounds has been an advantage for Philadelphia. Not a huge surprise there. And the biggest offensive rebounder has been Greg Monroe, who I think he gave them better minutes than I expected in this one.
Yeah, really didn't get taken advantage of much defensively until maybe late in that stint. He's now is listed as a sprained ankle, but available to return. Leonard missing the second free throw, usually reliable from the foul line. And now we've got Ibaka in guarding Embiid. We've called for Gasol as Butler blows to the rim, and he's going to get the and one. Not good enough defense. And what Ibaka and Leonard are talking with one another, what Ibaka is saying is, hey, you're guarding Jonah Bolden. You go help. And Kawhi is saying, no, you're the low man. You need to go help.
Butler overall for the game, the only Sixers starter in double figures, 17 points, 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers.
Norm Powell's getting lit up, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Fred VanVleet also has not been particularly effective. Philly with 3 starters on the floor right now. Leonard off the screen, engaging Embiid. He's got Ibaka behind him, but missed him. That was a miss by Leonard. Now he goes into Ennis instead and just scores right over him. What a shot. When you can score like that, it's just fine to not be able to pass that well, apparently. Here's Butler again. Pick and roll. Backdoor. Meeks gets a hand on it. He's getting his first playing time of the game. Butler with the crossover. Help comes. Embiid facing up in Ibaka. Now Butler goes for the three-pointer. Not there. Meeks gets thrown down by Ennis. And are they going to call this on Meeks here? I think they are.
Let me see what that was.
maybe they're going to say it was Kawhi after Ennis came down with the rebound. Ennis has had some nice rebounds, but they weren't able to make much out of them. So Philly in the bonus, and James Ennis out of,
I do not remember off the top of my head.
I think it's Long Beach State.
That seems possible.
Or maybe they just call it Long Beach now. But Ennis,
I think it's CSU Long Beach now. I can't remember.
oh, okay. Ennis spent time in the Heat organization, even in the G League, also played in Australia, then was picked up by New Orleans, signed by Memphis to the biannual exception, then was brought in by Houston at the start of this year as a low-cost wing option, and essentially dumped on Philly, and he's providing them with some important minutes here after returning from that quad injury. Now they give up the offensive rebound. Philly can get the 2-for-1 here. Embiid looking to attack Ibaka, goes right into him, and another foul is called.
And even though that was a terrible camera angle, it did allow us to see the contact, so it worked out okay.
Yeah.
And
that had a clear foul.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Embiid was aggressive going through Ibaka, and these are the moments when Embiid really has to get going, because he got one hook shot on Gasol in the third quarter, but other than that, he hasn't gotten a single good look posting up against Marc Gasol.
To catch up on fouls so far, only guy with 4 is Tobias Harris, who picked his up shortly before his normal rest. It looked like he did play to his normal rest. And then Embiid, Siakam, Kyle Lowry, and now Serge Ibaka all have 3.
So this has been huge for Philly. Toronto was within 1 at 61-60, and then a 9-2 or 9-3 burst gets Philly back into control. 8-2, I should say. 8-3, 8-3. Nate does math. Here's Meeks. He's got a wide open corner 3. He's got to cash that. That's what he's on the floor to do. Leonard rebounds though, and they didn't reset the shot clock. Actually, they shouldn't have this much time. He got that rebound before there was 14 on the clock.
17.
And then they throw it away. Butler looking to push it to add to the Philly lead. He's going to pull up from 3 over 2 guys, and it's off. So 6-point game. And these moments are going to be critical now. That was when Toronto had a chance with some of their starters on the floor to take the lead. They didn't. And now Philly, if they stick to their normal rotations, they're going to come back with 5 starters to start this fourth quarter.
Now, some of those 5 starters might end up with some serious minute totals. Simmons is already at 32. Butler's at 31. But this is a game they have to have. And especially considering how well they played at the start. To win this series, I think this is mandatory.
So let's catch up here on some of what's gone on. Kawhi, 26 points, 10 of 17. He was stymied early by Philly's helping. A lot of boxes and elbows from them, just counting on the ability to close out. But he has found room as the game has gone along, and as Toronto has actually started to hit some shots. I think they had 5 threes in that third quarter after 2 out of 15 in the first half. Meanwhile, Philly, the offensive boards, they've got 9 of them. Philly has also now missed 12 consecutive three-pointers. They were 8 of 15 at half, and they missed all 12 in that quarter. So they should feel pretty decent about where they're at right now, considering the 18-point third quarter they just put up.
So here's Toronto's shot chart so far. 11 of 20 in the restricted area. So I'd love to see a few more attempts, but not too bad. 5 of 13 from floater range. Missed all 7 of their mid-rangers. And then...
Yeah, and they were absolutely ridiculous on those in game 1. But
They were. Celtics-esque. And Toronto, 7 of 25 on threes. And they've missed a lot of corner ones. They're 2 of 11 from the corner, 5 of 14 of the break.
11 corner three-point attempts is a
lot.
ton, unless we're talking about that Jazz Rockets series. So, yeah, and Philly, they've got 10 corner three-point attempts of their own, and they've made 5 of them. Only 2 two-pointers for Philly outside of the restricted area. There are 2 out of 12 on those, and then above the break threes have also been off.
People, if you check Nate's Twitter feed, you can find the YouTube link. It is there. Let me see if we have any questions. I'll look at different. It's more people talking about that. Is that a Springfield Isotopes hat? The answer is yes. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Eric Kareen would appreciate it. He says Topes win every time
Yeah.
the Raptors win.
Is there any reason why Kawhi sat so much in the regular season? Yeah, he's still. It seems like he's still recovering, managing the quad tendon issue, and I haven't heard. Maybe you have any update, because remember there was the stuff about it being tendinopathy, and that that might be a more persistent thing, and so it does seem like they've had to manage it. It seems like Kawhi's been on board with it. Nick Nurse has managed it well, and so yes, there is definitely a reason why they were doing so. And now he's looking great. He's playing a lot now, so
Yeah.
it's working out.
All right, we're going to be back here momentarily. As soon as we listen to Nick Nurse talk with no sound on. Lowry has returned. It's he, Van Vliet, Powell, Siakam, who only got about a minute and a half rest, and Ibaka. Lowry goes for the mid-ranger. Not there. And again, this is we're not seeing actually the full starting unit. Tobias Harris with the 4 fouls is out. Instead, Jonah Bolden in his place, and they don't know who they have. They just gave up a wide open 3 to Bolden. That was atrocious. Yeah, Siakam didn't know who he was guarding and just gave up a wide open 3.
Just guard the guy with your same number.
Here's Van Vliet looking to get into the lane, not a threat to finish. Here's the screen from Powell for Siakam to get that right back, but that's off. Man, that was it's been a disastrous last few minutes here for the Raps, and especially with Kawhi sitting now. They try to get the oop for Embiid. Instead, it's Redick on that Spain pick and roll action, and Redick just can't get the wide open 3. That's a bummer for Philly, and now there's a dispute over whose ball it is.
And that was a pretty aggressive help by Van Vliet off of JJ Redick. I think that was trying to execute the team stuff. But Redick's a guy that you just want to stick on. Even in this lineup, there aren't that many guys that really scare you from out there.
Yeah, the Spain pick and roll, it worked exactly the way it was supposed to that time, forcing help on the lob and then getting the open 3. Embiid into the lane, and this would be another foul on Ibaka. I think 2 hands in the back of Embiid.
And a lot of times early quarter fouls don't get the scorn they deserve because they can lead into teams getting in the bonus, but a lot of times it's even those players aren't on the floor when they get in the bonus, so you kind of forget about it.
Yeah, and Ibaka there, he just keeps both hands up. What Gasol does is he just puts 2 hands up only at the moment of contact.
Drops it down.
Here's Butler. Gets it to Bolden. He eludes. Powell goes for his 3, and it's not there. Bolden certainly is willing to shoot it. High pick and roll with Van Vliet. They'll just switch this quite willingly, not fearing Ibaka in the post. Siakam looking to attack Embiid. Good help from Simmons. Simmons gets back to Van Vliet. Forces the tough fadeaway. Not there. And Embiid boxing out on Siakam. And Embiid guarding Siakam. You see Siakam doesn't really have a mid-range game. And he can't just go into Embiid. Siakam is a very similar player to Giannis in that regard, and that's why the matchup of a center on him works pretty well.
So how long Toronto keeps Kawhi out here is going to be important, and then can this Toronto unit defend reliably? Because we've seen Ibaka just struggle so much with Embiid here.
Here's Embiid, gets in, forces help. Butler will have to go to the fading 3 to his right. Nice box out by the Raptors. Van Vliet, again, just has not been able to get the looks. This is Siakam, not even going to try Embiid. You see, if that's somebody else, he gets ahead of steam and tries to go at him, and instead, they're not going to take it. Here's Ibaka, pick and pop. And that's something I think they should look at, and probably a move that you should look to switch there, I think, if you're Philly, as we're going to get a timeout from
especially Philly. When it's Simmons and Bolden there. I mean, you're
yeah, and I mean, Van Vliet, Lowry, like those guys aren't going to kill you on a switch. Ibaka is not going to kill you on a switch, so I would like to see them switch that play.
Patreon.com/Duncan LaRue, great way to support the show. We do subscriber-only podcasts. early release podcasts, salary cap sheets. We do often text versions of different things like rankings and all that kind of stuff, especially when we remember. I need to get better at that. And yeah, so it's a great way to support this. You can, but we make it worth your money either way. So if you want to think of it as content you're paying for, or you want to think of it as supporting this, either way makes us happy. Would OG get Jody Meeks minutes here? I think that they want somebody who the other team has to credibly keep a guy out there. But I mean, he's just so much better defensively. I think he would get first shot at it at bare minimum.
By the way, this is a different YouTube channel. That's why you're not getting the alerts. When we go live, but I appreciate you guys having those alerts.
Yes, absolutely.
Rank the matchups you would like to see most in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think I'd go Bucks Raptors 1, Raptors Celtics 2. So then what's left is
Bucks Sixers and Sixers Celtics. I mean, any of those would be great though.
Yeah.
I mean that's and you know if the Celtics or Sixers pulled the upset, I mean that's not a bummer to me. That means those teams played great.
Yeah.
And they're
you're gonna
well,
have to earn it against these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless there's some sort of like an injury or something like that. Let's see here. Not much yet in terms of the comments.
Oh, that's an interesting one. How I was thinking about this myself during the I think it was the second quarter. How much could James Ennis help the Rockets right now? He doesn't. I don't think that his shooting. You know, I wouldn't trust him as much as House, but I do think he would be more stout. Let's say like the way that Kevin Durant has just been beasted House on ISOs in game 1. I think Ennis would do a better job there. Not that he'd be great, but he'd be better. So I think he would be helping them. And also, I mean, just having another player who D'Antoni could conceivably have in the rotation, that's valuable, especially if Gerald Green, you know, like his consistency is a problem. So having another option would be a good thing.
Pre-game, would you have agreed with Monroe over Boban? Maybe. I mean, we know that it wasn't working for Boban, so maybe give Monroe a try. Yeah, I mean, when you have the known versus the unknown, even if the unknown isn't as likely to work. Yeah, rest of team, bit of a struggle here. Same lineup for Nick Nurse. Powell switching on to Butler. He cuts around and into the lane. Good help from Siakam. But the beautiful cut from Redick right back. Nice play there from J.J. Redick as his man. This is really interesting. They actually set a screen on the weak side, and then Redick got into the lane as there wasn't any help. There's the missed hook in the lane. Embiid, they have just not had any luck scoring around him. And Philly now can push it to 10. Monty Williams directing traffic for Philly on the offensive end. Back to goal, it's Butler against a stout post defender in Lowry. Help comes. Butler bottled up, throws it up top, and Embiid's going to have to drive to his right, tries to go into Ibaka and draw the foul. He's upset behind the play now. Siakam looking to push. This is going to be a wide open left corner 3 from Lowry, and they can't make it.
Yeah. Lowry, 4 of 13 from the field, missed all of his threes.
And now Simmons outruns everybody easily. That was pathetic transition defense from the Raptors.
And he was inside the restricted area and just turned on the afterburner. Siakam looked dispirited.
Yeah.
It's unusual to see him get
Ibaka. I mean, those, and now I assume Nurse is going to go back to Leonard, but yes, yeah, I mean, Siakam has a right to be gassed. He only got a minute and a half break there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on 33 minutes so far. So is Kawhi. And now we'll see. I mean, this is the Sixers. This is where they have the advantage. We talked about it going into the quarter break that they put a bunch of starters on the floor and they're able to outperform these Raptors reserves. So, I mean, that is the Raptors bench unit. I mean, they have good players, But just for whatever reason, that's even during the regular season, that unit struggled.
Why do coaches wait until the next game to make adjustments? For example, putting Simmons on Kawhi. Well, that's not a great example because they did that in game
Yes,
one.
they did.
Once the primary options weren't working particularly well. But depending on the circumstance, one of the reasons coaches do it is because they have more time to think about it and more time to plan, especially game 1 to game 2. You see what dynamics are in play, what the other team wants to try. And then the other part is once a game gets out of hand, it's not really good to do something that you intend on trying because then you lose the element of surprise.
Yeah.
So once you're down 10, 15, 20, as happened, at the late part of that game, you don't really want to go to those wrinkles then because it's a 7-game series. That's part of why 7-game series are so much more fun than like a one-off because you get that time to adjust, and so you don't have to throw out the kitchen sink in the third quarter.
Yeah, and it's also a fairly unconventional idea. I think they really saw that Siakam was killing them and that Leonard was killing them in the matchups that they had, and to take your center off of the other team's center, like that's something that kind of takes a little thought. I mean, we thought of it at the end of when we were talking about it after the game was over on Saturday night. But I wasn't yelling for them to do that during the game. I sat down and really thought about it. I was like, okay, yeah, this is something they could do.
It's like, what else can you do with Embiid? And it was a great idea. I'm happy you brought it up because and the theory of Siakam being similar to Giannis is totally a sound one with the strengths and weaknesses of their game. Now, Siakam is more confident in his three-point shot, but the overall contours are pretty similar. Somebody says after the JV and right trade, the second unit has not been effective. Yeah, I agree with that. I haven't checked the stats definitively, but that seems right to me. Like they've just lost a little bit of their dynamism from that unit, and they and they tried some Siakam plus bench stuff, and there just isn't enough shot creation there.
Yeah, well, they would just play great defense and then just run it down your throat.
Yes,
with that group, and they just don't quite have the same level of athleticism. I think they miss Anunoby the way he was playing last year. He was part of that group a lot of the time.
Well, and there's also a really heavy threshold. I've talked about this before in the context of the Warriors' second unit, where if your theory of the second unit is defend really well and then opportunistic offense, you need to defend at an incredibly high level most of the time to make that work. And some nights you're just not going to have it enough. Oh, that's a good one for the next break.
Yeah, let's see what they've got. Leonard is back in. Pick and pop with Green. They haven't gotten anything out of that targeting of Redick and pick and roll. Philly's done a much better job on those plays. And now it's going to have to be Kawhi, high screen. Butler forces the middle. Kawhi just pulls up. Not there. Kawhi has had to take some more difficult threes in particular tonight. Brett Brown staying with the 5 starters. How long is he going to do this? Siakam is out. Van Vliet is in. He's got Redick. Redick gets open off the screen. Another missed 3. Philly just cannot get an open 3 to go down in the second half.
Yeah, they're 9 of 32 now, but I think they're below 25% in the second half. Amir Johnson is in.
Yeah, well, I think Monroe's
presumably unavailable.
Yeah, so Johnson was activated. I think I see a cell phone peeking out of the back of his shorts. Remember, by the way, how big of a controversy that was? Like, oh yeah, like this cell phone thing, like, oh, it shows like they're going to lose this series. They're not locked in. What a crock of shit that was. Here's Kawhi. He's got Butler, and Butler's going to get called for the hold. And Jimmy Butler is not a small man, and Kawhi has just dominated him physically. I mean, look at this. He just goes right through him. So here it is. Redick and Embiid are out. They got a wide open 3 out of it, couldn't convert it to push it to 14. So this is the time now for Toronto to make their run. Kawhi is at the 4. Handoff Lowry, trying to get Kawhi against Harris. They don't swing it. Instead, it's Gasol. And they should have looked to the weak side. Kawhi had the ISO. Here's Lowry, has to float it up from the free throw line. Oh, and it drops.
And so this puts a lot on Ben Simmons' shoulders. They still have creators out there, but no Redick, no Embiid.
Yeah, presumably, and they don't have the pick and roll finishing with Johnson that you get with Monroe. Butler in the post, double teamed off of Johnson, gets into the lane, tries to draw the foul on Gasol, and does so. Butler has been rewarded a couple of times in this game with some call-seeking behavior, a questionable one certainly. Although if there's, we don't see whether there's contact on the arm, but Gasol is not straight up, so if there was contact, that's a foul.
And Amir did a pretty good job there sealing off the help. You can do that under the auspices of going for a potential offensive rebound, and so he's just like kind of standing there like this, and so even though his man doesn't really care that about guarding Johnson, he's in the way, and so the man can't get there.
Yeah, Philly got to scrounge out some points here when they don't have their best group on the floor, and Butler getting them a good start on that.
Greg Monroe will not return. He has a sprained left ankle.
Gasol screens for Green, who has not been a factor tonight offensively. Good denial from Simmons. They throw it now. Amir Johnson with good help off of Gasol. Here's the blow by Leonard, and he's going to go to the foul line. What a play by Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Philly did everything they could. They double team him, and then Kawhi just rips through on Simmons. And because Gasol was coming for the screen, Johnson felt like he had to get back in a position. Simmons did not direct the ball, and he gives up the and one.
And this is only Kawhi's fifth free throw of this game.
We'll see when Nurse wants to come back with Siakam. Oh, there he is. He's back in. Eight-point game. Johnson looking to swing it. Screening action on the weak side. Butler. Gasol right up on him. Green is on his back. Butler no room. Can't get the shot off. Johnson hands off back to Butler. Butler's fadeaway stopped by Gasol. Lowry recovers. Simmons tried to draw the bullshit foul, but he gets back into the play. Leonard crossover blows past Ennis. He's got Green's wide open corner three. Oh man, it just has not gone down for Danny Green tonight as Harris did not keep track of him. Now here's a drive from Butler. Goes at Siakam, and he's going to count it. And one for Jimmy Butler, who is giving Philly critical points in this stretch.
Yeah, we talked about how there aren't many ways to go for their offense, but pushing in transition, good assertiveness from Butler there.
I did not really see. Oh, okay. So what they called was the left arm of Siakam on the back of Butler. That's when that wraparound is always going to be a trigger for the referees. Butler with the and one to counteract Kawhi. So big.
Now it's back up to 11.
Yeah, big stretch there. Could have cut it to 5 with the wide open corner three from Green, a 45% 3-point shooter. And instead, Butler's 3-point play gets him right back to the double-digit lead. Leonard looking to get through Simmons. Can't do it. Now Simmons is still there off the screen. Leonard has to pull, very well contested from Simmons and boxed out nicely by Amir Johnson. Green getting over the screen on Butler. This is quite a load in terms of shot creation. Harris, nice help from Lowry to pick him up. Tries to get it in the lane, up and under. Goes into Lowry. Great finish. But that was good defense from Lowry to get his chest on him, and Harris able to shoot over the top.
Yeah, and I thought Lowry did nice small guy defense there to jump but keep his hands back so they weren't going to call a foul.
Screen for Danny Green. Nothing going with 10 on the clock here. Lowry, post up Gasol, and they throw it away. Lucky to recover with 6 on the clock, and they can run a sideline out of bounds. But deep in the corner makes that more difficult.
Yeah, and I thought, generally speaking, Toronto has done a nice job on those entry passes to Gasol, but that one was a little bit floaty, and good job by Amir Johnson to tip it away.
They get it into Lowry in the strong side corner. Finds Siakam. He floats it up. Not there, out of his range. Rebound Leonard, and he's going to go to the line. Wow. Now good foul from Philly. Leonard was able to get inside position on Simmons, and then I didn't really see where the foul happened there. Let's see if we can catch it from behind. I mean, that swipe, did he catch it in the head or something? It didn't seem
like he touched him.
Yeah, no, and Embiid's going to come back now. Johnson did his job. He was actually in the positive, I believe.
Yeah, or even I think he ended up even, but that's plenty. You know,
Yeah.
like
No, that's great.
If you're up 11, cut down a few minutes, huge.
So Toronto, they're going to have to force some turnovers here, I think, to get back into it and get out and run, because their half-court offense isn't going well enough to make this 10-point comeback right now. Embiid, nice spin on Gasol, lost it. Help comes from Leonard, keeps it in bounds. Siakam looking to push. Simmons harassing him. Great transition defense by Philly, and they'll go into something more in the half court. Lowry jacks it way out. Siakam on the drive, gets past Embiid, and he'll score. Another timeout coming here from Brett Brown with 4:49 remaining, and good timeout there because that was when he was going to lose under 3 minutes anyway. Sense of momentum changing just a little bit with it now down to 8.
Yeah, and can get his guys some rest. I mean, Embiid actually got to sit on the bench, but Jimmy Butler did not, and he's been doing a whole lot during that absence. I will answer some questions. Is Kawhi's performance in the playoffs enough to make you reconsider where you had him ranked among the league's best players? Yes, it is. I mean, we have to see if it continues. This is a very different series than Orlando. And even though Orlando had guys that could slow Kawhi down, Philly just, I mean, with rim protection, with so many other things, they can do it. But yeah, I mean, that's what you're doing all the time is reevaluating. And with Kawhi in particular, both because this season was a little bit disjointed and because it seemed like he was pacing himself. The playoffs were always going to matter more for me with him than almost everybody else. And then another part of that was you didn't get to play much last year. So we're incorporating new information, seeing how he looks physically compared to 2 years ago, all of those sorts of things. So yeah, it matters quite a bit.
Yeah, if he plays like this all playoffs, he'll probably be either number 1 or number 2 for me. But also worth noting that he played 60 games this year. That matters too if you're only be playing 60 games the rest of your career now.
Do you think there's any merit to putting Embiid on Leonard because Butler keeps getting bullied? I don't think he would do a particularly good job. I mean, Kawhi can just use the threat of drives and his outside shooting. And also that keeps Embiid way the hell away from the basket.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi can just pull up off the drill from 3 or blow by him. Siakam now has the matchup on Simmons. This is interesting. They're going with Leonard on Harris. Green on Butler. Here's the contest by Green on Butler. Toronto looking to cut it to 6. This is a huge 4 minutes. This is basically the series right here. And Siakam just gets stripped. And this won't be a clear path.
Look at the space, if you get to watch this again. Look at the space they conceded to Siakam and the space they didn't concede. They let him get to about 14 feet, and then they're just like, nope, you're not getting any further than this. And that was really nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like Siakam certainly deserves a ton of credit as he's picked up his 5th foul for the skill development that he's achieved, but also his handle can get a little loose sometimes, and that was the case there. So Leonard now is guarding more of a threat rather than Simmons. Here's Redick going to his right. 3 is off. Nice box out by Green on Butler. They get it to Lowry, and they're going to try and run something here. Lowry has Gasol. They'll swing it. Leonard looking for a screen from Gasol. Now he goes one-on-one, just going right through. Simmons out to Gasol. Good pass from Gasol. Lowry's 3 is not there. Green keeps it alive. Lowry recovers. Nice job by Harris cutting down that three-pointer, though. Siakam looking to attack. Goes into Embiid. Great defense by Joel Embiid, but we're going to stay right here. I think that was Lowry who got fouled going for the offensive rebound.
Yeah, I think it was Lowry fouled by Redick is what I saw.
No, it was Redick fouling Siakam on the tip attempt. So Pascal will get to the foul line here. Oh no, they will not get to the foul line on the tip attempt. They're involved, Redick, in pick and roll. No real advantage gained. Simmons, great hand. 7 on the clock. Leonard goes in to Simmons, and he's going to count it again. Another and one. He did the Harden move, going through the arms of Simmons, and then banked it home, somewhat luckily, I would say.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this when it happened. Pascal Siakam, first guy in this game to get to 5 fouls. So he's on the precipice now, and there isn't really a clear sub for him if he fouls out.
Don't worry, your intrepid broadcast partner, whose every word you hang on, did mention it.
Oh, you did? Okay. I didn't hear you say it.
It's okay. Sometimes we're looking at our computers and trying to get stats and stuff. I don't take it personally.
Good.
Wow. Sphincter tightening time now for Philly. 5-point game. 3 minutes remaining. Both teams on 2 timeouts. Both teams in the bonus. Leonard remains on Harris now. They want to take him out of the action. Embiid is open for a 3. He's going to load up. Not there. Philly's execrable 3-point shooting continues here in the second half. Leonard, he's guarded by Butler. Cat and mouse with Gasol. Leonard down the lane. Embiid stops him again. Joel Embiid has been a monster protecting the rim. That time he was matched up on Gasol. Now here's Butler going at Siakam. Siakam did well not to foul, but Butler scores. That was a huge exchange. That could have cut it to 3 instead of fast break off the missed layup. That's the exchange we might look at it later in this game. Here's Leonard attacking again. Siakam loads up his 3-pointer from the right wing is good. It's back to 4 again. Actually, no, this is the first time it's been 4 in a while. Maybe 6 possessions apiece left in this one. Philly with the 4-point advantage. They desperately need a bucket here. It's Embiid against Gasol. Let's watch what happens. Gasol trying to prevent the back down. The double team comes. Embiid in trouble. Trying to get the pass out. Great look to Butler. What a pass! Oh, what a pass. That was awesome. I thought he was dead to rights. He was about to travel. Hooks it over his shoulder to Butler, who has been fantastic shooting the 3 ball today. Finally, Philly gets one to go down. They are now at, I think this is updated. Yeah, it is.
It is.
That's only their second 3-pointer of the second half in 20 attempts, but what a time for it to convert.
Jimmy Butler, 4 of 10 from 3. The only starter for Philly to shoot over 25% from 3 in this game. Embiid's 0 for 3, Harris 1 for 5, Redick 2 for 8.
Yeah, and Butler, a team best, +9, 28 points on 25 shooting possessions for him.
And that's great to see after he had some, I mean, his struggle moments were more on defense than offense in game 1, but still good to see him do well.
Yeah, 41 minutes already for Butler, 42 for Simmons, but this is the time to break those minutes out. Redick is on 34. That's a lot for him too. But I mean, the series is over pretty much if you go down 2-0, even as the road team. So this is the one you had to get. And with that 3, Philly now a 7-point advantage. Massive favorites here with 2:11 remaining.
So the question I wanted to do was, somebody asked, who is the most important player in the second game, the game that we're going to focus on soon, which is Blazers Nuggets, the most important player in that series? And I'm going to go with Nikola Jokic. He is the alpha and the omega in terms of Denver's offense, but then also he has a larger defensive role than Dame.
They get it into Leonard. I think they got to go for a 3 here. Leonard into the lane, and Embiid stops that. Siakam not looking to take the 3. Again, Siakam not even looking to shoot, but Butler lost Lowry, and Lowry drains the 3. They're not out yet. All of a sudden, these teams can't miss from downtown after some miserable shooting throughout the night. Siakam guarding Simmons. They're trying to protect that 5th foul. Lowry hounding Redick. Now it's the handoff to Butler. Butler attacks Gasol. Gasol with the hands, and he can't believe it. Marc Gasol with one of his all-time best. Can't believe I got called for a foul reactions right there, just going down to one knee.
And considering the way he often reacts, I don't know if this is bad.
And that's a foul. He got him. He got him on the arm.
Yep, that's the right call.
And Gasol, he has good hands. He's going to go for the strip every time. But, I mean, you saw the way he definitely got that left wrist of Butler. That's what it looked like to me, at least.
And we didn't get to see it at the time, but the facial reaction was as good as the dropping to a knee. That was fantastic. But, yeah, it was still the right call.
Butler hitting the free throw. It's back to 6. Looks like they're going to involve Redick in the small pick and roll. Kawhi with the crossover. Embiid with the help. They're going to give up another wide open 3, though, and Lowry hits it again. Toronto just keeps on trading 3 for 2 despite their inability to get a stop, and it's back to 3 again. I mean, this isn't one of those times if Philly blows this lead where their offense wasn't good enough. Siakam trying to pressure Simmons. They're taking quite a while to get into the offense here. Butler. Corner Harris. Nice roll. Oh, Siakam somehow got back. Lowry gets the loose ball. Toronto can tie here with a 3. Lowry going at Harris, and he throws it off Embiid's face out of bounds.
And Kyle Lowry missed his first 4 3-pointers of the game, couldn't really hit a deep shot, then makes his last 2, which have cut the margin to 3.
And that's a really nice pass from Leonard as he got double teamed at the rim. Don't need a 3 here yet if you're Toronto. You're probably going to get 3 more chances to shoot it. They're struggling to get it in.
That was
now,
a
finally,
long 5 seconds.
Leonard looking to attack Simmons. Small pick and roll again. Green was open on the pop. Leonard dribbled right into him. Now Green will jack it. Oh, man. And Siakam gets the rebound over Embiid. 12 on the clock. Lowry looks to get Embiid involved in the pick and roll. Gets Siakam. Siakam into Embiid. Can't get it. Siakam recovers and scores.
And Philly going no timeout here. Let's see if they can create. They're not going to create an advantage.
I like the no timeout.
I do too.
You might as well save them. Man, these guys are looking pretty tired out here now. Some big minute totals in this game. High pick and roll. Butler, he's got Embiid on the weak side. Gasol, he did not look to get it to Embiid right away. Now Embiid drives on Gasol. Spin move. Pump fake. Embiid scores.
I thought Kawhi's help was going to get that. Kawhi came off of Tobias Harris. I thought he was going to clip this ball.
And this is excellent for Philly. They ran the time down just enough that Toronto will not get a chance to do a 2-for-1. And Embiid finally able to create separation on the drive, on the closeout by Gasol. And maybe Mark would want to have that back and let him shoot that 3 instead of closing out as hard as he did.
And a huge benefit for Philadelphia of retaining that second timeout is that now if something gets a little bit hairy, let's say Toronto goes for a 2 and then tries to trap or tries to pressure the inbound, you can justify using a timeout to sort this stuff, sort these things out. If you burn your last timeout that way, we've seen that happen a few times, you can get into some problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, both of these coaches generally try to save their timeouts. Yeah, that'll be interesting on the last 2-minute report. There's a comment that Embiid slid his pivot foot. Very rarely are you going to get called for that on an up and under unless it's totally egregious, though. And if you're really going to just zoom in on a guy's pivot foot on an up and under, probably like 50% of them in the NBA are travels.
Yeah, I think there was one of those in the last 2-minute report. There was definitely a pivot slide in the last 2-minute report of the Warriors-Rockets game. I think it was Clay, actually.
So here, Toronto, your play needs to at least include an option for a 3-pointer.
Sure.
To me, this is pick and pop. Leonard, make sure Danny Green gets the separation. You say, hey, we want Danny Green to pop to an open area. That's what the play should be. Leonard inbounding, gets it in barely to Gasol. Leonard tried to go back door. It wasn't there. Green, they're running some time down now. Get it to Lowry, who can dribble. Lowry, he just lost it. Somehow recovers. He got to get a timeout. No, it's Leonard. He's going to be open to get it to Green. Here's the 3. It goes out. Gasol recovers. Now it's Harris, and Harris are going to have to foul him. Wow, what a sequence that was, and there's only 3.8 left.
And Toronto extremely fortunate for that loose ball to become the wide open 3 for the guy you want taking that shot. Danny Green just missed it, and he's 1 for 6 from 3 in this game.
And nightmare shooting night. He's had some really open looks. None more open than that. Toronto, a miserable 10 out of 36 from downtown, and Philly has really outshot them. They're 10 out of 35. So Harris, an excellent free throw shooter with a chance to ice it now. Toronto does have a timeout left. If he were to miss both, there's some hope.
It's looking like they might not have one left. But he makes it, so we're fine anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when it would have been that they used the other timeout. I thought they had 2.
Yeah, it's possible the graphic got updated at some point and we just never saw it.
Yeah. Well, regardless, he hit both of them, so we're done here, whether they have a timeout or not.
Yeah, just a huge win for the Sixers to make this a competitive series. I like to think of Game 2 as kind of defining whether a series is going to be a long series or a short series, and now it's a much more significant chance it's a long one.
Yeah, and That's good for business for us, at least.
Absolutely. And we won't get that sort of clarification in the second game we're doing, but that will be a big part of the story for tomorrow for Bucks Celtics and for Warriors Rockets. I think that's what I always think of with a game too, especially when the home team wins game 1.
By the way, Danny Green, 1 of 8, 1 of 6, plus 14, team high. The only guy on the team is in double digits. And another one, Marc Gasol, 5 points, 1 out of 6. He was plus 9. And so I think the number one thing that I think Nurse is going to need to look at is changing his rotation around to keep Gasol matched up on Embiid. They lost this game, end of the third, beginning of the fourth, when Philly had their starters out there and they weren't able to make up the ground themselves. And I mean, some of these minute totals: Kawhi 35 points, 42 minutes; Siakam 40 minutes; Lowry 42 minutes. He had 20 points. Ben Simmons, a quiet game. I thought he made Leonard work harder than in game 1. Had some good help plays. He only had 6 points, but he played 44 minutes in this game. And then Butler, the big star, with 30 points. No other Sixer had more than 13. Second leading scorer for Philly, one James Ennis with 13 points in 24 minutes.
And this will be something we talk about a fair amount on the pod. Brett Brown intended to go with a 7-man rotation in this game, and really it was a 6 plus a backup center. Like, that's really the way of thinking about it. But then Greg Monroe spraining his ankle, that forced him to try other options. You know, try Jonah Bolden, try Amir Johnson.
Well,
but
Bolden did play at the
a
4.
little bit at the 4 with Embiid, but I mean, I think the intention was functionally.
In fact, I don't think Bolden played a single minute at center in this game.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're exactly right, because 32 plus 12 plus 1 plus 3 is 48.
Yeah, ugly basketball until the very end, when Toronto had what looked like a fabulous comeback and just couldn't quite make enough shots.
So we don't know how long we have until the next game starts. We can talk a little bit about it. I mean, we did a series preview on last night's podcast, but there's still a lot of things to discuss here, and I think what's going to be really important for me that we won't get to see in game 1 is how these coaches react to what happens over the course of the series. I thought that was a really important part. In particular, I mean, Blazers OKC was done pretty quickly, so we didn't get that kind of next phase of adjustments. But how much does Will Barton play? When does Will Barton play? Who is their start? Are they going to go back to that? Like, was Torrey Craig? It's like, oh, that was a nice story, but now that story is over. All of those sorts of things are going to be interesting. But I mean, I would have Torrey Craig out there because I think you want Torrey Craig on CJ.
Yeah, and maybe you hide Jamal Murray on one of Harkless or Aminu.
I'm a little bit disappointed in us that we've never come up with a nickname for those two guys.
Harkless and Aminu.
Harkless and Aminu, like the other guys, are like just I don't know. It's because the story has for a long time now been like, can those guys make shots? Like what they're bringing on the other end of the floor.
The biggest thing that I'm going to be looking for is, this is a stat that Schumann had that I wish I had been aware of when we recorded our preview. Dame Lillard only had a 22% usage rate against Denver, which was last of all the Western Conference teams that he played against. And that includes, obviously, that laydown that Denver had in Portland where they didn't play any of their guys. And, in fact, still were close to winning the game. And then they really took out all their guys.
Then they put in Mark Madsen to shoot a bunch of threes.
Yeah. So now Portland scored very well, as did Denver in the season series. But what that says is they're putting two guys on the ball and forcing someone else to beat them. And, of course, that's what New Orleans did last year. New Orleans had a much more aggressive defense. But that's what the default is going to be. Jokic, Plumlee, those guys are going to be up to the level of the ball in pick and roll, and then they're going to force the rest of the Blazers to beat them with the three-pointer. That's part of why Denver gave up so many threes. Usually teams that get the big way out on the floor are going to give up a lot of threes in the corner in particular, because you just have to bring that corner guy over to help on the roll man. Also, Enes Kanter will be available. They said that he looked like he was in pain warming up, but he's going to play. But he was going to have a really tough go of it, I think, against Jokic, even if healthy.
Somebody in the comments said that the biggest thing they're looking for are Mason Plumlee hook shots. Some part of me, yes.
I mean, that was I could, who knows what my future is in this, and maybe we'll just always be doing this, like just the two of us, and I'll never actually like make it bigger to be at like a real broadcast or something like that. But that may be the greatest call of my career, even like 25 years from now. Of that, it's just so it worked out so perfectly. I mean, yes, there's a pretty good chance that a Mason Plumlee post up is going to go awry if I'm going to predict that against someone who's like size, but it couldn't have gone any better.
Are we doing the whole Blazer game? We will do the whole thing as long as it remains competitive. Now, if it hits a point where we're not seeing much, you and I still have to record a podcast after this, so we'll do that. But we usually, we usually keep a pretty open mind about where a game can go, especially game one.
Which team needs the win more tonight between the Nuggets and Blazers? I would say the Blazers, actually. I think with the Nuggets lost game one last series and came back and won it. And I think really, if you are the road team, I've always said you need to be up 3-1 if you want to feel like you can be in control of the series. 2-2 going back, the home team is a massive advantage with two of the remaining three at home, especially at game 7 when we know the stats on home teams winning game 7. So I think it's really incumbent on Portland to come out and attack early. I think that Mike Malone is usually takes a while to adjust, although he did it well, I think, in that Spurs series. And so I think this is the game to me to get. And they got to win one of these first two, obviously.
Absolutely. There was an interesting kind of thread on our discussion on our Patreon on Periscope that I think was worth. Somebody asked, who do I have to pay for Sam Presti to fire Billy Donovan? And somebody commented, what's the point if you're not going to rein in Russell Westbrook? And I think that gets into an interesting question about what is available to a theoretical head coach of the Thunder and what is not, because I mean, we saw certain carryovers between Scott Brooks and Billy Donovan involving Russell Westbrook, and so it might just be that he has enough power. He did win a damn MVP award. Like, maybe he has that. There's nobody who can really do that, at least at this juncture of his career.
Not streaming on YouTube anymore. Yeah, we are. It's just from a different account.
If you check Nate's Twitter account.
Yeah, just check the Twitter. It's getting tweeted out. We doing the whole game? Yeah, until it's decided, at least.
Odds that every series goes 7, low. I mean, that's a lot of long series. I mean, each of them has the potential to, especially now that Philly won a game in Toronto, but I wouldn't expect it. That's a lot of things can change to make that not happen. I would go, I don't know, like 15%.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, I can't remember that happening in my lifetime.
I would love to see it though. That'd be pretty damn fun. And and this would be quite the year specifically for it to happen, considering all the stakes in this round for various teams.
Oh yeah, it'd be epic. So it is in fact Torrey Craig getting the start for Denver. And it's Cantor. He's got a pad on that separated left shoulder. We'll watch him closely as the game starts. See how he is getting that left shoulder above his head in the rebounding action, finishing around the rim, and then how physical can he be against Nikola Jokic on the boards and in the post. Denver controls, and Murray, as they deny Jokic initially, now here's the handoff to Harris. Cantor getting way out on the floor on that. That's interesting. That's something to watch there, that they're going to really put two on the ball when they succeed with that handoff. Jokic has to go to the step back over Cantor. You saw Cantor, he did not feel good, but he tried to contest that with his left hand. He's like, yeah, I can't really raise that above my arm. Double screen for Dame. This is what they've done as Jokic gets his hands on it nicely. We'll talk about that in a second. Murray's going to pull for the three. Yes. And a big thing that Portland did in the OKC series was those double screens, Dame trying to wrap tight around the first screen and blow to the rim. We talked about that in the Dunked On preview. Here's Harkless faking the screen. Now it's CJ. Jokic up to the level of the ball. Not up enough, and CJ drains the three-pointer right in his face. So that's interesting that it wasn't really too much pressure. They're also setting the screen real high on the floor, something that Portland can do. Here's the floater from Millsap, and floaters might have got it done in that San Antonio series. Floaters are not going to get done in this series. This is going to be a crazy offense series. CJ missing the three, at least I would assume so. Maybe some three-pointers will miss, but I think these teams are going to be able to get very good looks at each other's expense. Jokic actually missed Harris on the backdoor that time. Here's Jokic, 4-5 pick and roll, goes right at Kanter. And again, Kanter not really able to contest with that left hand.
And I want to keep an eye on transition defense. Both these teams are typically very good at getting back, but if either team slips, there will be advantages to exploit.
Double high pick and roll. Lillard will just pull this up. Not there, but they're getting the looks. I mean, that's already 3 open three-pointers for Dame and CJ. Nuggets a little more conservative in the pick and roll defense early than I thought they would be. Millsap looking to attack with his superior strength on Aminu and goes right through him for the hook shot.
He's trying to see some Rudy Gay in those matchups, though Aminu, I think, is a much better defender at that.
Kanter, his first touch, goes into 2 guys, avoided the travel, gets the tip, and it rolls home. Nice footwork by him. Usually on that jump stop, if you don't land perfectly, they call you for a travel on that now, with both of your feet simultaneously hitting the ground. Jokic, hands off to Murray. Kanter has to help out. He forces Murray into an awkward floater and grabs the rebound. Yeah, Jokic backing off a little bit on Dame. Nice swing by Dame. He's got the nice floater from CJ that's off the feet of Harris. Now he recovers, looking to push it on Harkless, and Harkless going to pick up the foul on a shooting motion from Harris.
And I like Harris there. He was thinking about just pulling it back and going to the offense, and he goes, well, I might as well just go for it a little bit. Goes to a hard right dribble and creates a foul. It's a nice play. You want to try to get those early fouls, especially in the first half, because it can get guys in foul trouble, and both of these teams, their starters are meaningfully better than their reserves at most of these spots. So if you can get anybody in trouble, it makes a bigger difference.
Harris missing the first free throw. 19th pick in the 2014 draft. I feel like we've done like every Nuggets game for this cast. I guess because that Spurs series was like the only competitive series.
Well, and because it was not on the same day as the Warriors series, so
yeah,
it never created any conflicts.
Craig guarding Lillard. They're gonna set this screen. No, instead they try and post up Harkless, and good job by Murray. Lillard didn't quite get low enough to make that entry pass, and Murray with a good effort to knock it out of bounds. Double screen for Lillard. Back to McCollum. He tried the bouncer. That went off the foot of Harris, but no kick called. Back to Craig. Blazers do well to get back, though. And now finally they'll reset for their half-court offense. Craig, he'll take a three a couple feet behind the line. That's off. Craig hit the three-pointer at times really well in that San Antonio series. That's going to be something to monitor. He's going to have some looks. Here's Lillard again with the three, and that's off. I mean, but they're going to die if they keep giving up these kind of looks to Portland right now.
Right, and we talked about it in the preview. Denver gives up a lot of threes. The opponents missed them. I wouldn't bet on that happening in this series overall.
Speaking of which, Murray with his three-pointer. I'm not worried, though, if you're Portland. They're getting good looks right now. They're just not going down. I mean, and when I say die defensively, they could still outscore the Blazers no matter what the Blazers do, because this is going to be a crazy offensive series, as we said a number of times. Here's the screen for Lillard. Backdoor Harkless finds Kanter. Kanter has to hook it up and score over Jokic. And that time, Murray just got caught napping, tried to go for the steal on Aminu, which is a low probability attempt, and that's what gave up the initial backdoor. Harris palming it out top, gets it into the post to Millsap. Millsap looking to go through Aminu again. Help comes from the top, goes to the fadeaway, and he lucks it home.
That's, I think, 2 for 2 from Millsap on plays like that.
Lillard gets the screen off the fake handoff, and he just blows right through. I mean, that's just atrocious defense from the Nuggets. I mean, he didn't even have to go fast. He just walks right in for a layup. Backdoor, now Millsap right past Lillard. I told you there's going to be some offense in this series. This is not good defense right now.
And that was off of a made layup that they never matched up.
These guys are also exhausted right
yeah.
now. We haven't had a stoppage yet. Here's McCollum loading up. His deep three-pointer goes down. I mean, what is that, like 6 3-point attempts already for Dame and CJ? Harris into the lane. Three-pointer from Murray out top is off. That was another wide open look. Double screen at half court. Oh, what a pass from Lillard and Cantor. Oh, that was not smart at all from him. Why did he hang on the rim? He was so excited to just go and dunk it down. And he taps his head. What am I thinking? Just drop it in the basket, man. Of course you're going to fuck up your shoulder hanging on the rim like that with your left hand. Oh, man. It's not as bad as when he broke his hand smashing a chair after picking up a charge a couple years ago.
Somebody asked why no kick call. I thought that was a kick because to me, so it's my interpretation has been if the defender's leg doesn't move or if they're not moving it, if it doesn't move at all, it shouldn't be a kick. But if it moves for something unrelated, I'm a little bit loose there. But it looked to me like he was watching the play and moved his foot. So
yeah, I mean, to me, I think they call too many kickballs.
I agree.
Like unless there's a motion that causes it. I mean, I thought it looked like he was just kind of standing there personally, but I didn't get a good chance to look at the replay on it either.
If Nurkic were available for this series, could that push Portland to be a solid favorite here after Denver's showing against Spurs? I don't think it would have made them a solid favorite because both these teams score so much that it would have been there. But I would have felt more confident picking them. I did pick Portland, but I would have been much, much, much more confident if he had been on the floor. Also because that stabilizes the rest of their center rotation. Then you don't have to worry about, going as much to Collins and going as much to Myers Leonard. So yeah, that would have made a difference.
Yeah, I think I would have favored Portland if Nurkic were healthy. Yeah, I mean, I picked this in 7. You had Portland for Denver in 7. You had Portland in 7. And I definitely think it could go either way. I mean, generally when I pick it in 7, that's
right. And that's why I ended up picking 7 is because I didn't have as much confidence in Portland winning the series. So I'm just like, I'll hedge a little bit.
Yeah, but one thing I'm kind of regretting, before the playoffs, I thought that Boston-Milwaukee would be 7. And then after the first round, I was like, Boston doesn't look that good. Milwaukee killed Detroit. Maybe I'll make it 6, and I'm kind of wishing I'd made it 7.
I like that. I'm not disagreeing with you, but that happened when Boston swept Indiana. But it was just those games were really close for the most part, or closer than arguably they should have been. Should the Raptors make the finals, do you think Marc Gasol will play a fundamental role in that matchup, or are those days gone? The Warriors in that series would go with Draymond at center, and I think that takes away a lot of what Marc Gasol's value would be because they don't drive to the like the way the Warriors attack the rim when they do it isn't really in a function where Marc Gasol brings as much value. Now, him posting up, you could get some advantages there. I think he would have been a lot more valuable if DeMarcus Cousins were available.
Just catching up to see if there's anything interesting in the Twitterverse. Not quite yet. Who would you have McCollum guard when it's starting lineups that are in? You didn't just answer that, did you?
I did not.
Okay. He's actually, I mean, I think he can guard either Murray or Harris as we're back here. They're going to the ATO with Millsap against Aminu again. Aminu taking a little bit of a challenge now. He goes into Millsap and then he commits the foul. He's not happy with the call.
When you are as grabby as Aminu was in that play, even if you get ball, it's very hard to get the call.
Yeah, and on his 4th reach of the possession, he gets called for a foul. And yeah, I mean, but he definitely came out with a lot of energy the coaching staff probably told him, hey, man, you can't just let this guy go at you and kill you. But he's now going to shoot free throws.
And this could potentially be Millsap's 9th point of the game. That would give him more than half of Denver's scoring. And a lot of it has been self-created or close to it.
17-14, and I think the teams have missed a fair number of open shots that should have made this even higher right now. Cantor at the elbow, hands off, McCollum. Harris goes flying. They get it underneath. Cantor not looking to shoot with that left hand, but he's finished nicely around the rim. So this is encouraging for Portland that they're at least going to be able to get something offensively. Jokic, as they go behind the screen, and Jokic hits the three, that transition screen. I mean, Enes Kanter trying to get over a screen on the ball handler and pick and roll is not something that he's done a lot of in his career. Cantor trying to get it at the elbow. Craig making the pass difficult. Now they're going to run that same handoff play again. No advantage gain. McCollum gets past Harris, though. Goes to the floater in the lane off the off foot. Beautiful skill level, man. He is one of the most skilled players in the NBA. And that's not good enough defense from Harris. He just got blown by without a screen that time. Jokic on the roll. The help comes. Now they're going to have to double this. Millsap into the lane against two guys. And what do they call, a walk?
I think they called a travel on the jump stop.
Yeah, and that's one where Millsap, if he just stays out top, he's got a wide open three. So, I mean, this strategy, now Portland didn't do that on every handoff. They may just be trying to switch it up as Craig gets a hard screen from Harkless. Gets back onto Lillard, though. No advantage there. CJ with the screen for Cantor. Dame has to give it up. CJ gets Harris way up in the air and just goes, that's just awful defense from Gary Harris. Too far away when he catches the ball. Then he just goes for the shot fake because he's too far away and just gives up the easy floater. I mean, you just got to be better than that if you're Gary Harris these last couple of possessions. Another pick and roll, another easy shot.
And Denver's going to be able to get that shot really all series.
I can't even keep up with like the number of shots and easy shots. Like these teams aren't even taking any time before they're just getting an immediate breakdown against the opposition. Aminu cut off nicely by Millsap. Faked into the air. Now Millsap commits a foul.
Even when somebody does one thing good on defense, 3-point possession.
I know. This is...
I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Also, I'm not the play-by-play guy, so it's not as stressful. Offensive rating so far, 137.5 for each of these two teams. Whee! And something I talked about pre-series, I was going to wait for the quarter, but we have this stoppage. Extremely low turnovers. 1 for Denver, 2 for Portland, and neither of these teams forces too many, neither of them commits too many. So we're going to see a lot of shots in this series.
Well, don't worry. Malik Beasley and Rodney Hood are coming in to stanch the bleeding on defense. Murray screens for Jokic. Harris goes on the blow-by on McCollum that time. And again, very little rim protection available for Portland.
And I mean, Aminu got over there, but he has a foul. Doesn't want to get second.
Yeah,
oh,
there you
look
see
at that!
again.
Goes reverse, but has to, or does a turnaround, but has to do with his right hand because he doesn't want to shoot that with his left.
Yeah, but that's still. I mean, Jamal Murray is the help there, just too small to deal with Cantor. Now Murray gets into his floater, another just incredibly easy attempt, in high pick and roll against the Blazers. McCollum, Harris trying to hound him. McCollum gets into the lane. McCollum goes for the layup. Nice contest. It was Murray who came over to force the miss. Now Murray in transition, and they'll slow it down. Jokic, hands off. Murray, Harris. They'll switch this nicely. This is actually a decent defensive possession for the Blazers, but still plenty of time to blow it. Murray into the lane. Tough floater, and he scores again. I mean, and Jamal Murray, this is, as they're going to get a timeout here, this is such a reprieve for him in the last series when he's guarded by Derek White, and you had LaMarcus and Pirtle waiting at the basket. Like, he's just got such a nice size advantage here. These guys just can't contest him, even with his low release. And Murray right now, he's already on 10 points on 4 of 6.
Yeah, so they have 2 guys with 10 points, and then the rest of the team has 8. But, I mean, that 28 points in 9 minutes.
Yeah, and
this is fun.
Lillard is 1 of 3 for 2 points. So, they're not, again, his usage rate is low, but Enes Kanter has 10 points, and that's because they put so much pressure on the ball a lot of times with Lillard and pick and roll, and he's thrown some beautiful passes.
Right, and Lillard has 4 assists and 1 turnover. So I mean, you're getting those points in a different form, and if it's an easy 2 at the rim, that can be more than enough for their offense.
You need any water or anything?
I think I'm good, thank you. Somebody says this series will be the perfect antidote to Celtics Pacers. Yeah, I mean, we'll get some whiplash if they pair those. I think at some later point, those series will be paired a little bit.
Celtics Bucks, you mean?
Yeah, Celtics Bucks. Oh no, they said Celtics Pacers, but Celtics Bucks is what it. Yeah.
That did happen.
It did. That was a thing that happened. If it is Bucks Raptors in the East, do you think both teams will stick with their traditional centers, or will they move to more mobile lineups? I can imagine that they will. What's interesting there is which team will first. I would say that the Bucks should make that move first because they can go to some interesting stuff with Mirotic. But I'm guessing, given the proclivities of both of those coaches, that all other things equal, which they will never be, that it would actually be Nick Nurse that is the earlier mover. Going forward, would you rather have Siakam or Murray? I mean, I think Siakam had the meaningfully better season this year, and it's always hard for me to bet against a guy, who has already improved so much. What is making me think more, though, towards Murray is I believe Murray is meaningfully younger, and when it's not only about age, I think some people overrate, fetishize, whatever you want to use, age as a proxy for room to improve. However, I think Jamal Murray also has a ton of room to improve as a decision maker, as a creator. But I think I will go with Siakam because of the defensive end. I think Siakam can make such a difference there, and his versatility defensively means that he can work with a lot of different fits at the 3. And his jump shot needs to get better. Like, if you were to tell me, that his jump shot isn't going to improve from this point, that would give me a lot of hesitation. But I'm going to go with Siakam. I think what he brings to the table is very useful. And even though Jamal Murray has a high ceiling as a point guard, there are a lot of capable type of point guards, and there are not many Pascal Siakams. But you would need one of those point guards. Oh, that's an interesting question. I think they're posing it as a draft, but basically, who is the best player who was eliminated in round 1? We can talk about that at the next break, because we're gonna have plenty to talk about during this game because there are gonna be a shitload of shots. 147.4 offensive rating for Denver. Woo!
Lillard, Hood screening for him to get him onto Murray, and I think this is just going to be a straight ISO here. No, now they set the screen to bring Leonard up. Leonard looking to pick and pop. Lillard goes to the step back on Jokic and trains it in his face. So that play clearly, I think CJ's still in right now, but that play was to get Lillard a nice shot and a lot of dummy action. Murray and Jokic, and Lillard is going to cook that combination. Here's Jokic. Leonard is in. Jokic goes to the hook shot over him and scores again. I mean, I'm running that Murray-Jokic pick and roll until they stop it. I mean, Murray, Jokic, those guys are great floater shooters, and they don't have nearly as much pressure on them as in the Spurs series. CJ forced to pick up his dribble nicely by Jokic. Here's the drive by Hood. Hood goes at Plumlee, who gets the rejection. Rodney Hood not as comfortable with the right hand, allowed Plumlee to recover. Now they'll hand off to Harris underneath. No contest whatsoever, but a line drive brick from Harris. That's rare from him. Lillard double drag for him. Looks to attack Plumlee. Harris does well to compete. Now Lillard's just going to jack and hits again. Damian Lillard.
He missed 2 open threes. That wasn't going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, those last 2 were tough shots, too, going to his left. Here's Murray, high pick and roll again. They cut it off. Jokic ball above his head, he's just going to load up and score. I mean, that's just terrible.
That's like the Boban plays in the last series where you're just
Yeah.
conceding the shot from a guy who has a nice set one.
I mean, and why don't you just, like, he's holding the ball above his head, so he's not going to put it on the floor and drive by you. Just get closer. He's going to make that shot. And then the other way, I was watching the replay as CJ drove and got it blocked, and it'll be Denver ball.
That was a good contest by Malik Beasley.
Yeah, Jokic, by the way, getting away with that crazy off-arm contact on that spin move against Myers Leonard. Seth Curry has come on. McCollum is out. They got, oh man, this is just an incredible dream for some people with Plumlee and Jokic against Leonard and Collins. Here's the drive by Beasley. They throw it out. Jokic gets Collins in the air, steps back for a three, and airballs it. This will be Portland ball.
The center-on-center flyby was amusing.
Yeah, it was a good effort, though,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
from
It
Leonard
slowed it
in the
down.
late clock. And Jokic not as comfortable moving his feet there to shoot as opposed to just taking the pure spot up.
So now CJ is going to have a lot of responsibility in this. Or no, Dame's still out there. I thought I read the numbers wrong.
Lillard running the time down, going to get the 2-for-1. Pick and roll, Plumlee out on the floor. They double team. Collins, he's got Leonard underneath. Instead, he'll just blow past Jokic for the layup instead.
Yeah, it looked like he was just going to do the righty pass, but then just cutting it to the left. That was the right decision. And Denver does not get the 2-for-1. But it would have been tough.
Beasley swinging it to Jokic into the lane. Morris has to give it up, and he's called for the travel, the up and down.
Yeah, and that's jumping without a plan. And we'll see. I was more worried about Monte Morris in terms of whether he was going to be able to defend in this series. I think he'll be fine on offense, just like everybody else in this series. But I'm going to keep an eye on that.
I think he did jump with his plan. It was to shoot it, and then Collins surprised him nicely,
That could be.
forcing the pass. Craig in as a defensive substitution for Jokic. They bring CJ back in as well. They're going to spread the floor with 4 shooters around Dame, and Craig picks up the foul. I mean,
This is something amazing, though. That was the 4th total foul in this first quarter.
oh yeah, they haven't even been close enough to these guys to foul him.
Yeah, and it ties in with something we worried about. We've like with Cleveland's defense last year.
Yeah.
Like they had a low foul rate, and it's because their defense was so shitty they weren't even close.
Lillard just going to go one-on-one against Craig. Lost the dribble. Has to throw it to Leonard. That was good defense from Torrey Craig. Not enough time for Denver to do much here, but had Lillard not lost the dribble, maybe he could have got a better look.
Yeah, just getting back into Dame's shooting pocket,
Yeah.
getting back into his body. Nice job.
If it's me there, I'm trying to set him up with Morris or set him up with Barton instead of their best defender to go one-on-one against at the end of the quarter.
32-32. A combined total of 4 fouls, 5 turnovers, 2 steals, 2 blocks in this. It was all offense all the time. Dueling 133 offensive ratings. Both teams true shooting over 70%, turnover rate over 13%. Completely ridiculous. See if we have any good questions, and then we'll do shot charts.
Yeah, I still had my stats on the Toronto Philly game. I was like, no, point for possession. That's not what we're going to see in this one.
Oh, this is a good question for you. Who do you think is the center that would make a Plumlee post-up look the most comical?
Well, I think you want it to be someone who's not going to just straight up block the shot. You want it to be someone who's just going to like kind of bump. So Gasol might be a good one. I mean, he's a pretty good post defender.
Oh, so I'm reminded, thank you to Lunatic for subscribing with Twitch Prime. That's another way you can support the show. If you are an Amazon Prime subscriber and are on Twitch, or just you can log into Twitch to do this, basically what you need to do is you need to connect your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account, and then you get what's called a subscription. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. And if you subscribe to us, then that's another way of supporting the show. It gives us a little bit. We still know exactly how it works, but we know it helps.
Yeah, so PG is the answer, by the way.
Yes, he is.
The eliminated teams. Thorpe said Lou Williams. That is also an answer. I respectfully disagree with him. Would I reevaluate where I had Siakam in the power forward rankings?
I don't even remember where I had him.
He was.
But that was one we did early, if memory serves.
No, I don't think I would. I mean, I had him as Giannis tier 1, AD tier 2, Blake Griffin tier 3, and then Siakam in a tier with Draymond, Porzingis, Love, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons. So no, I mean I had Siakam above like Gallo and Paul Millsap. So no, I think that seems about right. You know, maybe he's above Harris and maybe above Love. You know, I mean there's you know, we saw some limitations of his game tonight when you can put a center on him and take away a lot of what he's doing.
Shooting charts courtesy of Ben Dull. You can follow him Ben_DULL.
Yeah, our director of basketball research.
Denver, I have to make sure there's so much green on both of them. I have to make sure I have the right one. Denver, 4 of 4 in the restricted area, 5 of 7 from floater range, only 2 mid-rangers, which they split, and 3 of 7 on threes, all of which were above the break. Then for the Portland Trailblazers, a little bit more Morey heavy, 6 of 10 in the restricted area, 4 of 5 from floater range, 0 mid-rangers, period. And then 4 of 7 above the break, no corner threes. So the corner three part, but.
And thanks to JJ707 and John Smajda. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, especially because you did us a favor by subscribing with Twitch Prime. We appreciate that. Here's Hood. He'll pull up, wide open 3 off the dribble, goes.
We're going to be saying wide open 3 off the dribble a lot.
Yeah. Here's Morris. Plumlee tries to dunk on his not former teammate, Zach Collins. Collins has done some nice things so far defensively. Hood swings it, so they got neither Dame nor CJ on there. Leonard unloads from the top. Not a good shot there. Against this Denver defense, you probably want to maybe take better shots. But this is Turner. They got the 2 white American centers on the floor, Hood and Curry. So this is a unit where you would hope Denver could make up a little bit of ground. They have the better bench than Portland does. Collins, he'll load up a 3 wide open. In and out, though.
I honestly think these teams can do better than those shots.
He was wide open that time. The Leonard one I didn't care for. There's Morris gnashing under the basket. Now it's Barton. He's trying to call for the screen. No, Millsap wants the ball in the post on Curry, and Curry is going to get called for a hold. Those early second and fourth quarter fouls by your second unit guys, hey, they don't care. They're not going to play that many minutes, right? But it gets your team into the bonus for later in the quarter.
Absolutely.
Barton, wedge screen for Millsap, and Millsap's going to get called for the foul here, I believe, as he tried to get into position. So a couple of fouls jostling early. Oh no, they're going to get Morris with the illegal screen on Leonard.
Yeah, the little chicken wing.
So Denver, they need to help off of Evan Turner significantly here. Will Barton is not the most equipped to do that. Handoff, Hood. Now it's Collins looking to get it back to Curry. Curry looking to attack Millsap. No advantage gained. They lob it in. Nice pass, but Collins is stopped by Plumlee. Hood trying to keep Morris out of the middle. Forces him baseline. Millsap runs into Morris. Now he attacks. Tries to dunk it. And he's going to get called for the foul. And Collins is unhappy. And I think what his argument is going to be is Millsap pushed off with the left arm, and I think I might agree with him. Let's see if we can catch it again here.
I didn't see much there.
Yeah, I think Millsap kept it close to his body. Now, maybe there was no contact up top either. We have to see the baseline view for that. Hopefully that's coming after this Millsap free throw attempt.
And I believe this series runs, because it started so late, until a theoretical Game 7. It's just every other day because it started a little bit later.
According to this, there's a 2-day break in between games 6 and 7.
6 and 7, that's the
Millsap with a couple of free throws. We did not see whether, in fact, that dunk was a foul or not. Millsap has been awesome. Turner with the spin move. Leonard with the easy jumper, way off. Recovers, though. Turner, they go under on him. Swing it. Hood looking to attack Beasley. Now he's into the lane. Forces up a floater and another foul call. So neither of these teams can stop fouling each other, and that could be an issue as we look to the later part of this quarter. Hood, not known for his foul drawing, gets to the line.
I've been trying to think about whether Rodney Hood and Plumlee played together at Duke, and I cannot piece together in my head whether that happened. I'm guessing it did.
Whether who did?
Rodney Hood and Mason Plumlee.
Hood was drafted in 20. I think Hood only played 1 year.
That's why I'm having trouble. I think he was too late.
And Hood was 2014. Plumlee was 2013 draft. So they might have been there together when Hood was like sitting out his transfer year.
I mean, odds are he played with a Plumlee. Whether it was this Plumlee, I don't know.
Hood with a couple of free throws. Barton into the lane. He's got a man on his back, goes for the floater, and drops it home. Denver hitting the floaters early. Curry. Now Turner. They run that flare screen action. Hood on the opposite side tries to get in the lane on Beasley. Back to Leonard. Leonard behind the back. 8 on the clock. Hood loads up. Oh, yeah. Rodney Hood. They can't stop Rodney Hood, Denny.
No one can stop anyone, Nate. 8 points for Rodney Hood in 7 minutes. Made both of his threes and then got those 2 free throws. And importantly, Portland up 8-4 in these second unit heavy minutes to start the second quarter. And Denver has more, like with Paul Millsap, I would say that they have a higher star power here than Portland. Portland's going with 5 bench guys.
Yeah, what was that stretch just now?
8-4
for Portland. Yeah.
8-4 in favor of the Portland.
Yeah, no, that's not good. I mean, these all bench units, and they have come back with Millsap at least, but when they've had Jokic out of the game, because they changed up the rotation some, and now Barton, it used to be that Murray would play with this group.
Yeah.
And now Barton is kind of taking on the role of Murray, and I'm not sure how well that's worked for them here.
Somebody asked, what was Myers-Leonard do? I don't even know which play, but what was Myers-Leonard doing on that play besides getting in the way? And the answer is, I mean, these bigs sometimes for Portland are going to get in the way. That's just kind of the way it works with these lineups. Where does the Magic Johnson press conference rank in bizarre off-court incidents? It's extremely high because of the significance of it. I mean, that was a person who's like, I think his technical title was team president, right?
Yes.
Resigning without and over the course of it, finding out that it wasn't just like him announcing he was stepping down and the organization knowing about it. What ramps it up a lot is that nobody knew. And so that's why, and for a high-profile franchise and everything else that happened, also dropping little things like that he had been authorized to fire Luke Walton. I mean, it's up there. And I wrote a book that had included a series of bizarre off-court incidents, including Chris Mills basically trying to stop Portland's team bus with his SUV. Like, lots of weird things have happened, but that was among them. I think it was more significant than weird, but it was weird too.
Blazers 6 of 11 from downtown, and the Nuggets sitting at 3 for 7. Hood, Lillard, and McCollum have all of those makes. They are a combined 6 out of 9.
And Portland starters have a combined total of 1 free throw attempt. That was that Al-Farouq Aminu almost and one.
Yeah, that Magic thing was so weird. What?
Ben saying to plug in the laptop.
Oh, yeah. That's always a great idea.
Thanks, Ben. That's a good question from Noob Noob. Do you think that it is likely that the Lakers will get a better coach than Luke Walton? I don't think that it is, but I do think that it's very possible they get a coach who is better for them than Luke Walton. And that's really what's more important.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, if you're in a vacuum, I'd probably rather have Luke over Lou. Plumlee, they take away the back door. Yes, there it is. Oh man, yeah, you could probably back off him a little bit there, guys.
Well, especially with his dribble picked up.
Here's Turner and another foul. Millsap.
They're close to the bonus now. I think that was the 4th on Denver in this quarter already.
The other laptop is the one that actually broadcasts us.
The production laptop.
Yeah.
And so that's a short break for Nikola Jokic in what's going to be an extremely up and down game, and Portland has the rest advantage here.
Yeah, and I think Malone certainly did start to use him a lot. I think he really wore down at the end of that game 7. And so I'm not sure that the 42 minutes a game plan is a great one for him. Millsap is out, though, I think, with foul trouble is the reason that Jokic has returned. Here's a floater from Morris. What are they shooting from floater range right now? They got to be that's probably their 7th or 8th floater already.
Yeah, it's a lot. It probably is about their 8th.
Turner looking to bring Hood off a screen on the weak side. No, instead it's Curry. Good denial from Morris. Now Hood on the strong side. Tried to draw a foul on Beasley. He's going to jack from way out. Not close. And that was a good defensive possession. And certainly they've been doing okay here. So far as Beasley, they just let him shoot a wide open 3 that misses. They've been doing okay here without Dame or CJ. But this is one where, hey, maybe bring the guys back and go for the kill instead of just, we're surviving. Because now the offense looks pretty bad all of a sudden. And not the best fast break, but Barton puts it away anyway. And Denver has tied it.
And the dysfunction of it might have worked to their advantage because it staggered the defense a little bit. But it was also 4-on-2 anyway.
Yeah, Cantor is going to return. You saw Stotts call down the bench for McCollum. They screen away for Curry. Nice job by Morris getting through. Leonard, uncertain, now passes it to Curry. Curry looking to float it up over Jokic. Jokic recovers. He's going to look to push it. Ahead to Morris. Now it's Barton. Transition 3-pointer. Not there. Will Barton continuing to struggle from downtown. He had a couple makes in a row in a key stretch of Game 4 in that Spurs series, but aside from that, it has not been good. Hood looking to attack Plumlee off the switch. Good job by Plumlee denying it back. Turner into the post against Morris. Double team's going to come on top from Plumlee. Hood, he's going to have to create again. Goes to the fading floater, and a little regression for him, but they tip it out. Curry, he can't get a 3 either. Still plenty of open 3s, but these teams starting to cool off just a little bit.
Yeah, 3 and 9 for Denver, 6 of 13 for Portland.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're not going to go back to Murray here. He was on fire in the first. And, Morris is good, but he's like an okay backup point guard. Barton on the rebound, and Collins with a really dumb foul. You've got a 6-inch height advantage on Will Barton, and he weighs $180. There's no reason to jump at that pump fake. You put your chest on him and just push him out of bounds with your chest, and there's no way he's going to get that layup up.
Yeah, and even though Collins is not the burliest of guys, you still have to trust your length and trust your size there.
Yeah, Barton is not going to go through you. It's one thing if, it's some huge bruiser who's going to knock you backwards. So Dame and CJ return here.
And I'm going to be interested, I'll talk about this in the pod, about whether Stotts considers separating those guys out just because they could create, you talked about this a little bit earlier, but they're creating an advantage. Because those Denver lineups are more exploitable than they were, than Portland did in that beginning part.
Turner remains in the game. Don't really like having him out there with the starters. Again, why wouldn't you go back to Aminu or Harkless here? I was critical of Stotts for not going back to them quickly enough before. Here's Cantor. Can't go up with the left hand among the Twin Towers. Collins into the lane. Euro step around Jokic. And there's the limitation of Jokic. That is very, very poor rim protection to just get Euro step by Zach Collins and not even contest. There's Morris with the 3 off the DHO. Early shot there for Denver. Turner looking to push it. Nobody picks him up. He's at the foul line. Back out to Lillard. I think Morris has done a pretty nice job defensively off the ball.
He has.
But Lillard gets right by him. And again, just zero rim protection. Cantor is engaged with Plumlee. He can't come over. And Jokic just doesn't help at all. He's guarding Evan Turner in the corner. That's just not good enough. He never moves. That's awful. Yeah, if you want to cut those up, Ben, those last two plays by Jokic are probably worth a tweet. McCollum into the lane, floats it up, rebound Cantor. Turner recovers now, looks to CJ. This is close to a 3 seconds. They get out of there. Cantor trying to post up. Ooh, man, that can't have felt good on his shoulder. Yeah, trying to hold him off with that hand. Goes to the baseline, floats it up, and yes, and it's Cantor. Very happy that rolled in. Pretty soon, Denver's got to realize he's never going to shoot with his left hand, right? Barton, as they go under on him, jacks it, and that three is good.
Jamal Murray came out shortly before the end of the first quarter and still is not back in this game.
Yeah, he's waiting to come back in with Craig and Millsap. But, yeah, I mean, why is Turner out there? That's the question for me. Lillard into Plumlee. Plumlee moved his feet well to get in front of him. Now it's Jokic out on the perimeter. Lillard looking for an outlet. Cantor can't get it. Couldn't really reach for the ball with his left hand. Here's Jokic pushing it. Harris didn't shoot the layup. Instead, it's Barton in the lane. Tries to finish on Turner. He can't. Now it's Lillard. He's going to pull up from way out. Oh, yeah.
Lillard started 0 for 2, now 3 for 3 from 3.
Portland with the 4-point lead on Denver. And I think both coaches here just not going back to their starters early enough. Like, what is Will Barton doing? What is Evan Turner doing to stay on the floor other than, hey, we're not getting killed with this guy out there? Like, coaches, they especially a guy like Turner is making $18 million, Barton is making $14 million. They're looking for any excuse to play that guy more and sort of mollify them a little bit, and it's just not the right play.
Especially because let's use Barton as an example here. If you take Barton out, you're probably also and have Murray, and you're also going to allow yourself to have Torrey Craig in, and he's a way better defender. So you don't need Barton shot creation if you have superior creators on the floor.
Please stop hating on Jokic. I mean, he's a great player, the top 12 player in the NBA. But I mean, you're gonna look at that film and tell me that looked good.
Do you think we see any Isaiah Thomas in the series? No, he's not. He's not a good enough creator compared to the other options that Denver has. I mean, he just isn't at that level right now, which is a shame. And I wish that he were better, but he's not. I'm gonna adapt Ben Coomer's question and basically ask, is there a way that Denver can be a legitimate contender next year? And I don't think so, because they need so much defensively. Like, you look at the best teams in the league right now, like, they're all really good offenses and really good defenses. And so, yes, it is true the Warriors might not be the same team next year. Who knows what the Rockets are going to look like. But you have to be able to slow down, to take away what the other team does well. And I don't trust Denver to do that. And Michael Porter Jr. is not going to change that calculus. And I don't believe it's possible for any team to have such a good offense that those deficiencies aren't going to matter. It's just impossible.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about the absolute highest
level, that's what a championship contender is to me. A team that you can make a credible argument that they can beat the 3 best teams in the league. And if you can't do that, there are a lot of good teams that can't. And I firmly believe that Denver could finish with a 2 seed again. But if I'm going to pick them as a real title contender, they have to be able to defend at a higher level against great teams than they have. Would the Clippers be the favorites for the title next year if they managed to sign both Kawhi and KD? It would be hard. It'd be hard to imagine a team with better talent than that. I mean, because they would add in, Shamet and Shea.
They'd need a center.
But they could get one.
Yeah, they could get one.
I mean, they would have the room mid-level to use. They would still have. I don't think Zubac is the answer because of where these series would be going.
Yeah, but I mean, he could start and
Sure.
play 15
Yeah,
minutes
do
a
the
game.
Zaza Pachulia type of thing. Absolutely. And they would have the room mid-level. Guys would be falling all over themselves to play for that team. Yeah, they would be the favorites to me, especially because it would also, that it would make Toronto and the Warriors worse, and those teams can't really replace those guys.
Catch up and see if there's anything interesting that people are tweeting.
Well,
Back,
I mean,
so
Brett Brown calling Jimmy Butler James Butler, and Jimmy Butler saying that's not my name. My name is like his given name is Jimmy, which is great.
Oh man, Aminu is just getting cooked again by Millsap. I mean, that's just you're gonna go for that fake. You want Paul Millsap shooting a 15-foot shot. I mean, I didn't think it was possible to guard Millsap worse than Rudy Gay did last series, but Aminu is giving him some run for his money here. Lillard attacking Jokic, blows right by him.
And Lillard has gotten so much better finishing the rim. Not that he needed a ton of finesse to get that one in, but nice job.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben, you can add that to Jokic's highlight reel. Here's Jokic with the three from way out. You can add that to his highlight reel, too, with a pick-and-pop three-pointer.
12 points already for Jokic on just... Oh, no, 8 shots is a lot. 7 or 8 shots.
Here's McCollum, gets Harris in the air, but took away the shot. Aminu looking to drive on Millsap. This is not good. And Millsap may have actually committed a foul there, I thought, and we're going to stay here as Harkless gets the rebound over Murray. But I think that was a Aminu, oh, this guy's kicking my ass, I'm going to go right back at him type of play. And that's not really his role. That's just a beautiful finish from Lillard that they're
Really
showing on the replay. Oh, going to his right. The deep three is way off that time. I thought he could have squared up a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, he didn't need to rush as much as he did.
Jokic, they're looking to get Millsap in the post. Now it's Harkless guarding him. Maybe he's got a little bit better of a chance. Moves his feet well. Millsap using that off arm. And I don't know where the hell the foul was.
I think Harkless caught him with his left arm.
Oh, hit him down.
I thought I saw it.
Yeah, Millsap, another one of these practitioners of that forearm shove off. Look at the space he creates as he turns. Yeah, I mean, like, poor Harkless gets hit in the gut there with the forearm. Like, look how far his midsection gets knocked backwards.
And I'm happy Denver's in. I mean, I still think they should wear the rainbow jerseys more, but I like those better than the blue Mile High City.
Yeah, those aren't good.
Apparently the players like the Mile High City jerseys.
All right, well, keep them happy.
I thought that's what the money is for.
Yes, Peggy. McCollum in the lane, another bucket for him. That was a very difficult shot, though. 5-1 pick and roll. Jokic going into Cantor, gets deep penetration, goes up over him and scores. And again,
I thought he got fouled, too.
Yeah, and that's a great way for Jokic to use that 5-1 pick and roll. Cantor's going to go under. Now he's got a head of steam at him. Lillard in the mid-range, goes down, gets it to Aminu. Underneath Harkless, finds Cantor. Cantor can't recover it. Goes to the reverse. And again, I mean, Jokic...
He's only going to do one thing.
He's going up with the right hand every time. You got to know that at this point. And trust if he goes up on the left side with his right hand, you can block it. Jokic, bothered by Lillard, now gives it up to Murray. Murray looking to engage in the lane. They swing it. Harris, wide open corner three. And that's not very good defense for McCollum. Instead, Harris... Oh, what a strip! That was Harkless. I thought Harris was going in for the dunk. Now it's McCollum. He looks to attack Craig and draws the foul. They will say it's on the floor, however, and I agree with the call.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of before the gather.
Yeah, and there, CJ, maybe you stunt at Jokic a little bit above the break, but him above the break versus Harris in the corner, that's not a trade-off that you're going to win. You want to make Jokic just shoot that above the break.
It has been a very quiet, and I would say disappointing on defensive end night for Gary Harris. Only 3 shots, 1 for 3, missed both of his shots from long distance, and then he has gotten 1 free throw. That's why he has 3 points. And I was seeing if Torrey Craig is in foul trouble. I My thing says 2. I don't know if that's actually his third, though.
Here's the steal for Murray. Murray looking to attack in transition. Oh, and Beasley just went down in the corner.
And I think that I didn't see anybody trip him. That might just be a tough break.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just backpedaled and caught his own foot.
Yeah, and this may not be as much of a series for Craig because they're not stopping him anyway.
It's
so you
true.
might as well just get more offensive firepower on the floor and try and match it.
And if that's the case, I would go with Beasley over Barton just because he can function better as a smaller cog.
Yeah, or you put Craig off the ball where he can move his feet and help a little bit more. Here's the 3 from McCollum that's off. Aminu jogs into it. Cantor was open underneath. Aminu couldn't get it to him. And then he throws it away. What a terrible play. Beasley going at McCollum. McCollum with the strip, and this will be a foul. But that's one of those ones where CJ's got a point. The refs aren't anywhere close to being able to see. I mean, look how far behind the play they are. They can't, and that is totally clean, by the way. I mean, that's one of those, you can't call that foul if you're the referee. You didn't see it. If you don't see it, you're not supposed to call it. That was a guess because they're so far out of position. And that's one of those ones. I mean, with all the bullshit about the Rockets, I agree with the recommendation to get a 4th official.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because no one was even close.
We will discuss that report on Dunked On. Lillard up top. They're going to try and get the 2-for-1 again as Denver has secured a 1-point lead for the time being. Harkless looking to involve Jokic in pick and roll. Oh, man, they fumbled the pass. Now it's Murray. He's going to try and jack the 2-for-1 or get it to Beasley instead for the 3. Plumlee with a nice box out, and Aminu will be called for the foul in the rebounding action. This should be 14 on the clock, though, so they will not get the 2-for-1.
But this should be free throws.
All right. Yeah, so they get the 2-for-1.
I will be open.
And yeah, that's a good call. Immediately holding the arm of Plumlee.
I do not know how good a free throw shooter Mason Plumlee is. I'm going to guess 72.
Oh, dude, what planet are you on?
I don't know.
57.
Is he? I have no idea.
He's been the victim of hack a Plumlee.
Oh, you're right.
Of time.
56. I've forgotten about that. I blocked all hack out of my brain. Thankfully.
4-second differential. They're going to want to run the time down pretty well here. Portland has missed some opportunities with bobbled passes. Lillard, nice job by Jokic moving his feet that time. Now he's going to attack. Tries the pass, and it goes off of Harris's leg. Lillard wanted a kick, but I agree with the no call. He's just standing there.
And one of the impacts of not calling the kick there is that the clock kept running until the ball dribbled out of bounds, so it burned a couple of seconds off the shot clock. This will be an interesting sideline out of bounds call. And I understand them taking Jokic out here. You might as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to make a difference in the 4 seconds you're going to have. They get it in. Another deflection. Denver more active with the hands. They throw it ahead. Murray, he's got time. He's got Beasley on his right with the fake. Throws it up, and that was really good defense by Aminu. He totally faked out Murray. He feinted towards Beasley. He feinted towards Plumlee. And Murray wanted to pass it, could not, and just airballed the layup.
So we are at halftime. It is a 58-55 score. The offensive ratings have toned down, but I think a big reason why they had is that both these teams have missed some open shots. Like, I mean, Denver, 5 of 15 from 3. Most of those have been very good looks, many of them by good shooters. And then Portland doing stronger there, but they've turned the ball over now 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference in the game. And Lillard has 4 turnovers. A couple of those I don't think should have gone to him. I think those were ones where, like the Harkless one, for example, I don't know if that went to him or not, but where guys have just bobbled it. But yeah, those turnovers are killer.
And 9 of those 10 are live ball.
Yeah, they're 61% true shooting. The other thing is that they're not getting to the foul line at all. Only 2 out of 3, whereas Denver is 11 out of 13.
Leading scorer is Paul Millsap, who has just been beasting Al-Farouq Aminu. 17 points, 6 of 8 from the field, hasn't taken a 3. Also 5 of 5 from the line, 1 turnover. Denver's whole team has 5 turnovers, but their starting 5 only has 3. And when you consider how much they can move the ball, depending on what sets they're running, that's Portland doesn't force many, but you want that number to be higher, even if they don't force many.
You need anything? Gonna read.
No, I think I'm good. Let's take a look. Do you really think it's impossible LeBron demands a trade from the Lakers? I'm not going to say impossible. It's kind of like the any chance rule, but I do believe that LeBron understood what he was getting into. And, I mean, remember, he committed to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers without another star on board. We know that because they didn't get one, and there were no reports that anybody backed out. And it is not the most, like LeBron is a very savvy guy in terms of understanding organizations and relationships. It would be shocking to me if what happened here was a misread of LeBron on the Lakers rather than him reading the situation correctly and going, that's cool with me. And I think that's what happened here. He can, as I always say, free agents, players can choose to prioritize whatever they want. They have that right through free agency. And, it started as a gap year, and I think that's totally fine, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I don't think LeBron's going to demand a trade. Thinking back to that memorable conversation that was recorded for reasons I'm not sure I'll ever understand with Rich Paul talking about, would you rather lose 10 games in Philly? Would you rather lose 10 games in Cleveland or lose 10 games in LA? I think that's a pretty good, a more open example than we would ever normally get from a player. Not that he was saying, it was Rich Paul that was saying it, about what the thought process was there. What would be the fallout if Milwaukee loses in 4 or 5? So
what a disaster that would be.
It would be a disaster. So the question there, though, isn't as much necessarily for the Bucks. I think ownership would still be willing to pay. It's more, would a guy like Chris Middleton choose to maybe think about another team more openly? Like, would he want to go somewhere else? But I think the Bucks are still a really good option for him. Because Milwaukee, their flexibility, they're pretty well stable, especially with Bledsoe signing an extension. So I don't think there would be some dramatic fallout from them unless it was spurred by somebody else, which it absolutely could have been.
Oh, someone asked about the hat is Springfield Isotopes, and the T-shirt is Comic Book Guy.
Yeah.
When he goes on the date with Agnes Skinner. I probably should have worn a sport jacket over it though to really complete the look. But my wife got this for me for a couple of holidays ago.
Somebody asked about the Lakers trading for Paul George if AD is off the market. So theoretically there might be an offer there, but I don't think OKC does it. I mean, you have this limited window with Russell Westbrook, even though you and I probably feel differently, almost definitely feel differently about Russ than Sam Presti does. And any Lakers offer is going to make OKC meaningfully worse in the immediate. And if they could theoretically package those guys to get somebody else, then you're probably not making the trade in the first place.
Yeah. And Presti had an interesting presser today in which he acknowledged that there are some faults with Russell Westbrook, but said that he like the rest of us put the Thunder organization above everything else. Probably not his family, Sam, but everything else basketball, I guess you could say. But that was actually worth reading. Let's see here.
I think this is an interesting one. Who would you peg as the Anthony Davis favorite at this point? I would still go with the Celtics, even with the uncertainty surrounding Kyrie, just because Boston has so many more resources that even their not best offer is better than almost everyone else. And I think Danny Ainge really values Davis and sees him as a real difference maker. So I have them as the favorites. I just don't particularly like the packages other teams are offering. And then you remember all the teams that are, like, unless, let's say, like Kawhi tells Toronto, I'll stay if you get AD or something like that. Like, and I don't, since I can't predict something like that off the cuff, I'm not going to.
Is CJ the best tough shot maker in the game? It's tough to say what's a tough shot. I think, who would I rather have taking a contested jump shot? Probably KD.
Well, I think he meant in this game. Or did he say the game?
No, the game.
The game. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the CJ would be up there in terms of when you say a tough shot is like, all right, it's contested. Kawhi's got to be up there too, I
Absolutely.
would say, actually. Who else just like kind of lives on contested jumpers and shoots it really well? I mean, he's up there. Like, he shoots, over 45% for mid-range most years, and a lot of those looks are really contested. He's got a high release. He does it against usually a longer, larger defender. So, no, he's probably in the top 5, I would say. Although, sometimes we tend to overrate him a little bit because I think he had that one really good year and then he's regressed a little bit when you look at his overall numbers.
Somebody mentioned this in the comments. Kyrie is another one worth.
Oh yeah, Jesus. That's one of those ones where I need to like actually go through all the rosters and like make sure I'm not forgetting.
Well, and what makes Kyrie a little bit different than guys like Kawhi is that because he's smaller in stature, a lot of his shots are harder. Like, KD, he gets so much separation that they look hard, but he doesn't think of them the same way as like Kyrie. Kyrie's incredible.
Harden step backs are pretty difficult.
Yeah, that's for sure.
There's a lot of credit on those. Yeah, not really seeing many others here. George was doing it for a while, but he doesn't have quite the same level of consistency. Yeah, so he's definitely in the top 5.
Question from Jason Abelson. What would be the ideal addition to the Blazers using their expiring 2020s and assets? I don't know who they could. I mean, their 2020 expirings aren't positive value contracts, and Portland's asset pool isn't particularly strong. I mean, so I think they have their own picks largely moving forward. I'm going to pull up their sheet. For those who don't use it, Real GM's like future drafts detailed is just an insanely great resource. Yeah, so they only have 1 second round pick in the next 5 years. And they have their own firsts, but of the 2020 expirings, so that means, like basically the bad contracts on their books, I don't think they could get much of any of real of value for that, because Portland, they're a good enough organization. Their first round picks aren't super valuable. Simons, I think he's intriguing, but he hasn't really done enough so far to like sell a team like, oh my God.
Hey, maybe the Kings will be interested in him.
Maybe.
Because of what he did to them on that last night of the season. Yeah.
And we know Vlade is willing to add shooting guards, even though they have shooting guards. But yeah, Simons and like a lot of their other young guys, I don't consider particularly strong assets. Like Zach Collins, I don't think he's done a lot to make somebody convinced that he is a long-term starter, like definite slam dunk starter.
I agree.
So I don't think Portland's asset base is particularly strong right now, and so you're not going to get a particularly good player from that. I think you just ride it out, and if you have to stretch somebody like Myers Leonard to make it work better financially, so be it.
I think it's possible for someone to shoot step back threes efficiently and going in the direction of their strong hand. I don't know about like a steady diet of it. I think you throw it. I mean, Curry, when he was at his absolute peak, was hitting some of those. Harden had worked on it for a while, and he actually shot one in that game 1 against the Warriors. But no, that's pretty difficult. Dame obviously hit the one he's probably the best at it, maybe I would say. He hit the one to win the series, of course.
Do you know if Capella has been playing injured? I don't believe he's been playing injured. I think he's been playing sick. There were some reports that he was dealing with a couple different things there, but that can have lingering effects for numerous reasons. Do you think the Lakers will regret stretching Deng? His big contract could have been valuable in trade. It wouldn't have been valuable in a trade. It just would have been salary filler. And their young guys are expensive enough that I think they can get most of the way. Like now that rookie scale contracts are just so much more lucrative, I don't think that's as big of a concern as it would have been otherwise. And remember, the difference between the Deng stretch, which I supported, and the Noah stretch, which I did not, is that Deng gave up a lot more money and Noah did not. Now the Knicks were able to pull it off without that, but like they were able to because of the craziness of the Porzingis trade where they got off of so much long-term money. But I don't like stretching a guy when they don't really leave much on the table, because all you're creating in that circumstance for them was a roster spot. The Knicks didn't need that roster spot. They sucked.
Someone's saying we have a bug in the steal percentage calculation. I think that's right. Isn't 9 steals in 48 possessions 18.8%? Pretty close.
Yeah. And Portland only has 1 steal, so that seems about right.
Maybe I haven't been monitoring it throughout the entire game, but
yeah, it seems good right now.
Yeah.
18.8 is a very high steal rate.
All right, so what are we looking for here in the second half? Let's lock back in on this game.
Can either team protect the rim any better? I think that's going to be important.
Did we do the shot charts?
No, we did not.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. That can give us something. Yeah, so Denver 8 of 11 at the rim, 7 of 11 on floaters.
Whew.
But those floaters are very good open shots. And that Murray, Jokic, even Millsap to some degree are pretty decent floater shooters. And then on the other hand, Portland 11 of 17 at the rim. That's a lot of shots at the rim. Denver actually hasn't given up any corner threes, although Portland doesn't shoot a ton of those, but Portland is 7 of 16 above the break. And the other thing to me that's huge is Portland going to keep turning the ball over? I mean, 8 steals for Denver. Denver doesn't force a lot of turnovers. They didn't in that Spurs series. Portland usually doesn't turn it over too much.
Wait, and I think a lot of those were in the second quarter. I think the first quarter they only had like 3. And something else that I think is a good proxy for that the defense hasn't been stout in this game so far. Combined 5 mid-rangers, so that these guys don't have to settle. Like the settling shots that they've had have been closer to the basket than that.
Yeah, and you think about all the mid-rangers that the Denver had to take in the first series as the clock was running down.
And also, like, which bench is going to look better, or in the early stretch of that, especially when it was basically bench versus bench other than Millsap, Portland went out to that 8-4 run, but by the end of it, when Portland actually had their starters in, I think they had ceded basically that whole advantage.
Another thing I'm looking at is the bench minutes for both teams.
Yes.
Are we going to see a lot of Turner? Are we going to see a lot of Plumlee, who was 12 minutes? And don't really care for that. Again, you can get away. Like, here's the thing, right? Both these teams' bench units aren't that good. So the coach is like, all right, we can get away with this. They're not like, oh, it's not working. We got to get the starters back in. But, like, schedule out 40 minutes for your starters. And just because you're not getting killed with the starter out of the game, bring them back in. It's the playoffs.
You could be taking advantage. It's not just about holding your own.
Paul Millsap only played 15 minutes in the first half, and he had 17 points. Like, why is he only playing 15 minutes? Yeah, he had 2 fouls, but that's not. He started the second quarter, and then they took him out after he got his second foul. So why should Millsap should play 18?
And even though Harkless didn't take a shot, I'd like to see him out there on the floor more. He's a sturdy defender, and it's not like their other options on the front court line are particularly strong. I thought he was better than Evan Turner, and their minutes were too close.
Yeah, and Cantor, he had 0 fouls. He only played 14 minutes. Now, not good defensively, obviously. Lillard and McCollum only 17 minutes as well. I thought it was a missed opportunity to get one of those guys in. Now, we could see them just go crazy with the minutes in the second half.
Sure.
Stotts in particular will do that.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Stotts does that and then Malone doesn't at the start, and then they get some run there.
Yeah. Fast break points, Portland only 3. I think the only one they had that was credited as a fast break point was that pull-up 3 from way out from Lillard, and then 9 for Denver.
And Denver only scoring 10 points with 9 steals is a little bit concerning, but they had a few that rimmed out, and that weird play where Malik Beasley fell on himself. So like they could be better without much changing. And also Denver, I mean, 5 of 15 on threes, overwhelmingly good looks. Oh, good, I didn't knock over any T. Yeah, I mean, you see Denver's big men combination combined 31 points on 12 of 17 from the field, 5 of 5 from the line. All of those 5 are Paul Millsap. That's just a ridiculous line for those guys. I mean, they're great players. I'm not saying anything other than that. But we're back.
Yay!
Deep breath.
So Craig remains on Lillard. They try to set a back screen for Harkless. Now McCollum, good job forcing him out on the floor by Harris. McCollum pulls up to the three-point line. Not there, gets his own rebound into the lane. And what are they going to call here? I guess they're going to say that Harris hit him in the back, maybe? I didn't see a lot of contact there, even on the replay. Here's McCollum getting past Jokic, and Harkless just fumbles it again. But that time actually was able to recover and
going
finish.
Picture-in-picture to show a highlight reel you could have showed at halftime is pretty sorry.
At least they're actually going picture-in-picture and not just taking it away from us completely. All right, here's Millsap against Aminu. They're going to load towards him a little bit. Here comes the double from Lillard, and Aminu gets the strip on Millsap. Lillard has Murray into the post to Harkless against Harris. I don't really think this is a huge advantage matchup. Trying to back down. Aminu loads up the 3 from the right wing. That was a good pass. Cantor can't get the rebound. Murray looking under for Millsap. Couldn't get it to him. Now it's Jokic into the paint. Millsap. And this is going to be a really bad blocking foul on Aminu. What the hell did they call there? First of all, the only contact is with his chest and Millsap's forearm. He's got both arms up. How is that a foul?
And that's Aminu's third. So that's a really important call.
Murray off the screen. He's got Lillard on his back. Lillard contests it, and Lillard's going to get called for the foul. He is not pleased with the call. I didn't see a ton of contact there live.
It might have been some on the wrist as Murray kind of held out the shot a little bit, but I didn't see much.
Oh, no, he didn't touch him.
That's two tough calls.
Was there?
Wait,
no,
hand on the back?
Yeah, if it was there, it wasn't there for long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 tough calls here on Portland to start this. Murray with the second throw. And we saw a number of times, especially early in that series against San Antonio, where Murray would come off the screen like that and get contested late and be forced to give it up as he was jumping for the shot. But he's had a very efficient night so far. Same play that they ran with to start the half. Lillard on the drive goes into Jokic. He draws the foul.
And I thought that was a better job by Jokic being in position, but commits the foul and 2 free throws.
It's always the sorry third quarter that just gets so whistle happy.
Because the refs talk to each other. And
yeah,
like, hey,
they go in and they're like, oh, hey, what are the calls that we missed? And that's borderline for me. I don't know if I would have called that one. Jokic is just kind of running along. Lillard goes through his arm, but Jokic didn't extend the arm to make contact with Lillard. He's just running in a straight line. Where's he supposed to put his arm?
And this is the first 2-shot foul for a Blazers starter this entire game. Al-Farouq Aminu got the end one. Rodney Hood took 2 free throws. That's it.
Yeah, well, if the refs continue at this pace, it's not going to be the last.
Yep.
Couple of free throws for Lillard, back to a 1-point game.
At least they get some breaks, though.
Jokic looking to hand off to Craig. Now Millsap, they run a screen, and it looks like this is going to be a hold as Jokic was trying to get through those screens, and I think it was McCollum that kind of chucked him as he went to go to the near side block. They're zoomed on Cantor, though, so maybe it was on him.
Yeah, they called it on Cantor.
Murray into the lane. Harris, as McCollum helped to the nail, and Harris drains the 3. That's a beautiful pass from Murray. Very simple pass, but McCollum is over towards the nail, and that left Harris open. Lillard snakes it. Harkless against Murray. Now it's Cantor trying to post up. Harkless goes right through Murray. Beautiful pass to Cantor, who finishes. Mo Harkless was not known for his passing, but that was fantastic. Now it's Aminu on Lillard. Pump fake Jokic goes right at Cantor. And that pick and roll in transition with the Blazers not having their defense set up, they don't really have an answer for that. Here's McCollum with the left hand, stopped by Harris nicely. Harris running the lane on the right. They give it back to him. Tries to put Aminu in the mix. Gets by him into the lane. Good help from Harkless. Forces the turnover. That was a little too aggressive from Harris. He was feeling himself after the block. Lillard almost intercepted Aminu at mid-range, and they'll back it out. Aminu looks to drive on Millsap, now into the post. Not an advantage matchup to me for Cantor. He'll face up on Jokic, just loads up the jumper, and that's not good enough defense from Jokic.
6 seconds left, make him put it on the floor.
Yeah. Lillard looking a little tired here. They go under on Murray. He just rescreens under again. This guy's looking pretty exhausted right now. 5-1 screen. Instead, it'll be the load up from Jokic from deep. And, I mean, they need to just run the shit out of the 5-1 even more than the 1-5 pick and roll, because Enes Kanter is just not going to get through a screen at all. Lillard tries to go into Craig, gives it up. Another fumbled pass. Millsap fighting for it, and what's the call? We're going to go to the other way.
Yeah, it looked like Minu touched the ball while his right foot was out of bounds.
Yeah. And granted, that pass is off, but you got to at least catch the ball without just losing it out of bounds. Murray, they go under on him again. Now he's into the lane. Left-hand floater is
no
good.
help. And when these guys, I think one of the dynamics we're going to see in this series is they're going to start driving even more aggressively because they know as long as they get past their guy, there's not going to be anything behind it. It's very different for each of these teams than the last series because you had Steven Adams and the Spurs' massive big men waiting for you at the rim if you got by your defender. Would either of these teams benefit from trying to go small? They both seem to use two bigs most of the time. Well, I mean, I think that a weakness for Portland is that they don't really have, to me, that guy that if you go, like, that who are you putting on the floor by going small? I guess Seth? Like, you're going with Seth Curry, maybe Rodney Hood. Like, I don't think the net benefit there.
Yeah, I mean, well, they can get away with it. It's just your problem is your help in the post won't be as good when you have such little size.
And then Millsap's a better player than the guys that Portland couldn't use. I mean, they could do it as a change of pace with Torrey Craig or something like that.
Yeah, well, and Malone definitely going back to the dual center lineups rather than going with Craig at the 4, which is what they did in the Spurs series. And I guess they're doing that, again, because it's Myers Leonard and Zach Collins together. But why not just punish those guys instead of just playing big just because?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Somebody letting us know that ABC missed an entire crunch time possession in the Warriors-Houston game yesterday.
Oh, man.
Oh, we would have gone insane.
Thanks to Stockton Shorts. I remember there was actually, for subscribing by a Twitch Prime, I remember there's a NBA and NBC commercial where the cast of Friends was trying to say, like the female cast of Friends was trying to say like how sexy it was that John Stockton wore short shorts, and like that was a reason for women to watch. That was
oh Lord, things have changed. Oh, that's a good question, big question, but we can try to do it. How symbiotic do you think Kyrie and Durant's games are?
Not particularly.
I mean, both guys prefer to have the ball in their hands.
I mean, maybe you just put shooters around them and you're just going to ISO all the time. That's your offense.
Be a pretty damn good offense.
That's probably true.
Might not. Yeah, I think something with that team, most notably, just I've thought about it at various times over the last few months, is that I don't think they would be particularly fun to watch, even if it was successful. Just because those guys, the way those guys, I mean, you can appreciate the individual brilliance and the way that they can put it off, but I don't think it would be like the ball pinging around or anything like that. It'd just be two amazing shot makers making shots. And now, could they develop more of a defensive identity? Maybe, but then you get into some issues because almost every guy who would give them that then is cramping their spacing on the other end.
All right, we are back here. Jokic, 9.1 assists per game. I mean, that's just completely insane for a center. And a lot of those are like DHO plays, but he's got a great timing on those. He can go backdoor, and then his skill level to make the big be glued to him where he can hit that shot as well. Only 2 assists tonight. Jokic out on the floor against CJ. Harris hounding him pretty well. Harris has done better on CJ since he got some flow-bys and early going. Cantor goes into 2 guys. He get called for the travel. Not pleased with the call.
Well, and that could have been a 3-second in like a beat if he had.
Well, and where was the travel there?
It seemed like his arms
were
going up and
down.
down.
He had, watch his left foot here. His left foot never moves. That's weird, unless they called it before then. Here's the screen. They love this play, too. Jokic goes into Cantor. I'm surprised that wasn't a foul. Gets the rebound over Lillard, though. Out to Craig. Loads up from the left wing. It's good. Jokic starting to make an effect on the offensive glass. And that's a play they love to run. That screen Murray for Jokic. Like Jokic is just a guard to get to the free throw line. And Cantor is just not going to get through that. Lillard tries to split. Jokic with good hands gets a deflection. Now he's just going to go one-on-one against Craig. And they're going to call a foul on Craig, which... yeah, he's got his left forearm on him. That's what they're calling there on that one. Should be a non-shooting affair, though.
This is a 15-8 third quarter so far for the Nuggets, and that's important. I mean, if they can have an advantage going into their backup lineup, I mean, we're still a few minutes away from that, but maybe that would lead to Stotts to actually going with the starters. We'll see.
Oh, I guess they're giving him the shooting foul here. Which,
I don't love that being a shooting foul.
No, me neither. But yeah, Denver's defense has tightened up a little bit. Some of it is forcing turnovers, but they've gotten their hands on balls. This has been a better performance from them.
And I think there's been more congestion. They've been fighting through stuff. Harris, in particular, to me, has done a better job.
Yep. Eight-point Denver lead. They screened for Harris, looking for Jokic out of the corner, and Harris kind of blew up the spacing by trying to drive. Now he throws it back to Jokic, and it just sails out of bounds. Yeah, so not good from Harris. The play there is he comes off the screen on the left side, and then Murray goes and screens for Jokic, and by Harris trying to drive, he screwed up the entire timing of the play. And he didn't really have it on the drive either, because Jokic is running right into his path. Lillard to his left, 3, not there.
Craig went under the first one. I'm like, oh, something's coming here.
Yes, they haven't been quite as aggressive with Jokic on a lot of these plays. Now the pick and roll, Jokic, easy finish. Aminu, wow, was lucky
Pushed him in the back.
not to get called for his 4th foul. Now he's going to look to attack. Euro step, floats it up. Not a good shot. There's the Craig screen for Millsap. They get into the post to Jokic against Harkless, and Harkless gets called for the foul. Jokic still complaining about not getting the foul on Aminu last time.
I thought Millsap was going to dribble into a post up there because he had, I think it was Dame on him. But they were...
Yeah, but I mean, once Jokic is there, there's nowhere for him to go.
It's a fair point.
Right, I mean, that's what we talk about with Plumlee. Plumlee will post up right in front of the ball handler, and not that Jokic didn't have a good matchup against Harkless there. And now Cantor's going to get called for a foul.
And these are free throws.
And Cantor is holding Jokic. Jokic pushes his hand away a couple of times, then tries to move, and Cantor gets called for the hold.
And those early non-shooting fouls, the one on Aminu, just numerous things. That's when those start to rear their head. What would be a non-shooting foul now becomes free throws for Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I think Portland, have they had any turnovers in this quarter?
I think they've had 2.
Yeah, so that's still not a great number as Jokic hits the free throws. Cantor with the screen. Craig does well to get through it. He's been pretty decent in this quarter. Lillard with the easy drive, though, right down the lane. So much for that. Murray directs traffic. 1-5 pick and roll again. Murray wide open again. And Lillard tried to go under that time, which he's been doing on Murray. Murray takes a while to load up his three-pointer, but that time Jokic did a good job of setting the screen lower on Lillard's body towards the basket so he couldn't go under. Now we're going to get a foul call on Cantor on the side pick and roll. Millsap came down onto the arm of Cantor. I think his left arm had ball, but his right arm had the forearm of Cantor.
And I believe Denver they were 5 of 15 on threes at halftime. Does that sound right?
Yes.
That would make them 4 of 4 so far in the third. And I don't recall them missing one.
Yep, there it is. That's exactly what it was. Millsap had the left hand on the ball, but the right arm is on the forearm. And that's what the call is made. Cantor with the first free throw. Originally, in the 2011 draft, the number 3 pick of the Utah Jazz, starred in the Nike Hoop Summit in 2010, went to Kentucky but was never eligible there due to supposed professional payment that he received back in Turkey. It was the start of a rocky relationship with the Turkish government and teams and everything else for him. Jokic finding Millsap off the flex screen, and he'll get to the foul line.
Zach Collins just when you drop your arms down, you lose all the benefit of the doubt, even if you get the ball. I don't think he did get ball there, but
yeah, Zach Collins is an absolute foul machine. Yeah, that's kind of a flex-based action. Usually, if you're running a flex screen like that, a flex screen is a back screen from the corner across the lane. Usually, the ball will be on the opposite elbow. That's also somewhat similar to a play the Cavs ran to death last year with Kevin Love in the corner and a shooter screening for him to get into the post. And it's a very difficult play to defend. Millsap can't get the free throw. Craig knocks it out of bounds. We'll go the other way.
Yeah, Millsap missed both of those.
Here's the screen. Cantor was open on the side pick and roll. Lillard tries to get his man in the air. Oh, they called that?
I don't like that call. I mean, that's totally an unnatural shooting motion. And yeah, he did bite, but he bit in about the smallest way possible.
Yeah, that's pretty weak. Especially when the guy lands. If he lands on the ground before the contact occurs, I mean, that's I just don't care for that call. It might even technically be a foul, but it's just it's not really basketball.
And that is Torrey Craig's fourth.
Yeah, that's big because he's I think has caused Lillard some problems in this quarter. Now Portland in the bonus as well. It's always that third quarter. Now both teams are in the bonus with 5 minutes left. So, be interesting to see whether Lillard gets off here. I'm also interested to see this rotation decision from Stotts to go with Collins very early. Collins and Cantor together. I don't think those two have shared a ton of minutes.
I don't think so either.
Your spacing is going to be limited now. I guess the idea is that we have to have someone to guard Millsap. I don't really care for Collins guarding Millsap because Millsap loves to draw contact. Jokic, same play again. This time Millsap pops out for the three instead as they were cheating it, but I think they're okay with Millsap shooting that three on the move.
And that was only his first three of this game.
McCollum pulls up. Good contest in the rear view from Harris again. All right, I take it back. That was actually Beasley. Murray, left-handed pass. Beasley steps back. Good job by meeting him on the other side of that handoff. Here's the elbow jumper for Murray, and Jokic beats Cantor. So that's the worst of both worlds, but it's a tough play for Cantor. He's got to get out there, stop
Well, and
Murray's
he's trying to
penetration.
steal on his left arm too.
Yep, yeah, that's a good point. Here's the screen for Cantor to screen for Lillard. Now Lillard into the lane. He's got Cantor with the floater. Beautiful side pick and roll. Millsap came over to help, but Cantor was able to hit a tough floater. Murray, Jokic at range. They bottle up that 1-5 pick and roll finally. And then Lillard just takes it away from Beasley, who is looking for Jokic up top. Transition drag screen. Lillard's just going to load this up easily, but way off. Lillard actually had another step to go in if he wanted it, with Jokic way back on that transition drag screen.
Don't exactly know what this stoppage is. Maybe the ball got loose or something.
David's saying he got like scratched or something on the chest. Pace is slowed down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic, his first post up of the quarter, using the off arm and goes right through Cantor again. Timeout, Portland. That off arm from Jokic is just so deadly. I mean, he just shoves Cantor back and goes right through him. And I think we should see more of these post ups. But, I mean, Denver, pretty much everything they're doing is working right now offensively. So
Yeah.
might as well just keep the variety going.
Jokic, 25 points, 10 of 15 from the field, 3 of 5 on threes. I think that's another important part for him. And he does only have 3 assists, but they haven't really needed that. It's more been getting him the ball like that. The pick and rolls with Jamal Murray have been leading to more Jokic buckets than Jokic passes, and he doesn't need to pass if he has the shot. Millsap, I think he has he only scored like 2 points or so in this, because I remember he had like 15 at halftime. Is that right?
17 at halftime.
Oh, so he hasn't scored at all in the third quarter.
Nope. He missed the two
He drew
free
a couple
throws.
fouls,
Yeah,
but
that
those
was
fouls didn't produce free throws.
Well, he missed the 2 free throws. But,
Oh, that's right. Good call.
Yeah, so Jokic is dominating again. 25 points on 10 out of 15. 3 of 5 from downtown. 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Cantor, 22 points, 10 of 12, but is negative 11. Lillard, 23 points on only 12 shots. But McCollum has started to slow down a little bit. I think that's been key. He was getting great looks early, and Harris has done a better job fighting over and bothering him to some degree. Blazers started off so well from 3. Now they're at 7 out of 21.
Oh, I'm assuming you had seen this, but I had not. That the rumors that had been out there that David Griffin was going after the Suns athletic trainer, that actually happened.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, and that's another very good sign for the ownership tenure of Gail Benson. And we talked, it came up when David Griffin took the job that there was going to be an increase in spending. I would assume that the training staff was a big part of that.
Shouldn't the Blazers be looking to put Jokic in the pick and roll on every play? Well, I mean, number one, running pick and roll every single play is pretty tiring for Lillard. And they've got other stuff that they want to run. I mean, you want to get other guys touches periodically. But I think they're doing it enough to me. I'm not sure.
And it's not like that's Jokic. Sometimes he can be weaker as reacting as a help defender. That he's not as good of a help rim guy, and so that way, you're not taking advantage necessarily of that if you have him out on the floor. And Millsap, I think, is a better reactor in some ways. Would the Bucks be better with Gobert instead of Brook Lopez? I don't think they would. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think so either. Actually,
so he's a wonderful defender, and they have similar deficiencies on that end. But the pick and roll, kind of the rolling element of Gobert's game, would not be as useful for Milwaukee, and then the spacing would just be
with Giannis on offense, it just wouldn't work really.
Yeah.
I mean, they would clearly be better on defense, but I don't know if they'd be that much better.
Yeah, it's a better version of the same philosophy.
Yeah.
And
All right, we're back. Harris now is guarding Lillard with McCollum, down low against Beasley. Flare screen for CJ on the weak side. Hood matched up against Murray. Oh, he beat him with the jab step and goes up and dunks it as Plumlee came over too late. He was trying to 2.9, and Hood actually timed his drive perfectly as Plumlee stepped out of the lane. But that's on Jamal Murray. You can't give up that much of a blow by. That's not on the help. Here's Murray going right back to Jokic. Leonard with the block, and I thought that looked pretty clean live.
Yeah, I did too.
Maybe he got him in the head. That looks pretty good to me, man.
Yeah, that.
Jokic hitting the first.
I mean, Portland's gotten a little bit. I don't think it's enough to like swing this half. That's not why Denver has a lead, but they've gotten a little bit of a rough whistle here.
Yeah. I think Denver definitely benefits when it's called very tight. Portland has one guy who gets to the foul line, and that's Lillard.
And he has taken 6 in this quarter.
Yeah. And a couple of those were questionable. Same play again. Hood, ISO. This time it's Beasley. They swing it. Leonard loads up the 3 from the left wing. Is good. Big shot for Myers Leonard. He needs to be aggressive there. Shot 40% from 3 this year. And that's what he's out there to do. Hood gets through the first screen. Murray forced towards the baseline. Now they have to late switch it. Murray now gets the screen from Plumlee. Goes for the 3 over Collins. That's not there. Rebound CJ. No, it's out to Harris. They missed Murray on the back door. Jokic hands off to Harris. Harris looking to drive baseline. Jokic going to attack off the dribble behind the back twice. Goes down, and they rightfully did not call that foul. Lillard blows past Plumlee, and Jokic shoved Lillard. No call there either. Here's a 3 from Harris in transition. Man, that's a huge swing. Jokic just gave a forearm right to Lillard. He's not even in position to make a play. Lillard missed the layup. He'd probably tell you still he should have made that, but then the 3 going the other way off the missed layup, that's a huge 5-point swing. Now it's Hood in the post against Harris. Good job getting a better matchup for Denver. Hood with the same move, and he goes baseline and scores. Rodney Hood.
He went 2 for 3 on that shake.
Yeah, beautiful jab left, go right from Hood. That's a move that he's really liked since college.
Yeah.
Murray, Jokic with the screen on Hood. Backdoor, Harris, stopped by Collins. No, the beautiful reverse. I thought there was no way he was going to make that. Good verticality from Collins, and Harris with an incredible finish. Now, I mean, they're milking Rodney Hood in the post. You do wonder if this is where you want to go when you've got Lillard and McCollum both on the floor. I mean, this is just one of the best finishes we've seen in these playoffs from Harris. So, like, McCollum almost blocks it. He's got to go through Collins as well. Man, that is fantastic. Hood hits the first free throw. The presence of Lillard and McCollum is giving Hood plenty of room to work on these ISOs. Seth Curry is in. See in a second who it was that he replaced. I think he got CJ.
He did.
Yes.
James Dillon.
Big last minute or so of the quarter. Leonard trying to front Jokic in the post, and he's going to get called for the foul.
And that's another non-shooting foul for Denver that became free throws.
Yeah, so Myers Leonard not even doing a three-quarter front. That's a full front, and he's got his arms out like this, and Jokic just ran through his elbow and got the foul. But you can't just put your arms out and prevent the guy from getting around you here. We're going to see it here. Watch his right arm. Yeah, and then he turns it around and tries to hold him. That's a good call.
Yeah, I agree with that call.
Couple more free throws. This nice game is degenerated into a foul shooting contest here. Jokic has been awesome again. They're going right back to Hood. This time it's Barton with the matchup. Hood with the fake. Good dig from Beasley. Hood throws it up there, not even close. And the dig from Beasley as that pass goes way awry. And they're going to give it to Denver, though, still, as Curry was out of bounds. The dig from Beasley forces Hood to pick up his dribble earlier than he wanted to. And that's why he wasn't able to get as good of a look.
And I think Curry was reluctant to throw that ball in under the defensive basket, like the risk of just giving up an easy layup there, but his foot was just over the line.
So 2 for 1 time for Denver. Jokic is going to try and go to work against Leonard. Backs him down, goes to the tough fade, not there. And Lillard's going to run some time now. Collins with the screen. Lillard trying to blow by Plumlee, does, and he finishes easily over Jokic. Last possession time for Denver. Morris will pound it up top. Presumably Jokic is going to be involved here in this pick and roll with Leonard. Morris engages Leonard. Now he gets to the mid-ranger and scores it over Leonard. That's not very good defense from Myers Leonard. And now that should have been an offensive foul because Morris reached out completely with his left arm and shoved him. But you'd also like your 7-1 center to not get shoved backwards.
And a nice little play by Malik Beasley there. He realized what they were just going to throw the ball in, and he tipped it, and so that took away most of the time that Portland had to get a better heave.
Lillard throws it up. I think that got deflected, and it's a 9-point deficit for Portland going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was 2 deflections in like 3 seconds for Malik Beasley. So I'll do some of the advanced stats. You can see them on the screen about what stands out to me because you guys are seeing it more than I am. 129 offensive rating for Denver, 117 for Portland. Turnover rate still high for the Blazers. So it looks like they only had 2 in the quarter, but I mean when you do 10 in the first half, then that ratchets it up. Neither team rebounding as well offensively. And we talked about this as being a possibility with the defensive rebounding that each of these two teams had. They are very successful offensive rebounding teams, but they've also done well defensive rebounding. So when those teams play each other, you can see it go in a couple different directions. And I'll do some questions. You guys should rank the coaches. We did that once before. We will do it. I would say we'll probably do it again. The challenge, in terms of I like doing that theoretically as an off-season podcast, but we have so much stuff that we get through in the off-season from all of the early July stuff, off-season grades, then the team-specific segments. So I'm sure we will do it between now and a year from now, but when I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, we've done it before. We were actually recording, talking about how we each separately picked Jason Kidd as our number 30 coach, and we're recording that segment. That was the end of the podcast because we went from 1 to 30. We were doing that as he was fired, which was pretty hilarious. If they played like they have so far in the playoffs, would you rather have Kawhi or KD on your team?
That's tough.
It is.
It's probably KD.
I mean, because this hasn't been like... It's been a different kind of Kawhi defense. It hasn't been just like defensive player of the year, clamp the guy down. Like, to me, if he was playing that way defensively, it would be kind of be easier because I think that there's a lot of Kawhi's game I like offensively. But if I'm gonna say who's, like if the margin between them defensively is narrower, as great as Kawhi is offensively, I trust KD a little bit more on that end.
Well, and also KD scales better as a spot up shooter.
That's true.
I think So, shot charts here. Denver on fire from downtown. They now sit at 10 of 22. I mean, it really has been utter feast of famine. They're either like 50% or they're like 6 out of 23, and there hasn't been any kind of in between. I think in that Spurs series that was the case, and they're on fire tonight. 10 to 20 above the break for Denver, and then 7 to 12 from floater range. They only took one floater in that third quarter, and 13 of 18 at the rim. Ton of free throws, obviously, as well for Denver. They're now up to 19 to 23.
From Portland's perspective, 16 to 25 in the restricted area, and they have 6 offensive rebounds, so it's pretty close in that margin. Then 6 of 11 from floater range, 2 of 4 from mid range, and they're 8 of 22 from 3. Only one of those is a corner 3, and it missed. I'm trying to remember who took it.
That's pretty funny. David Adelman is in the background, like just looking over at the interview with Mike Malone of like, hey, can you get back to the huddle so we can like start running our huddle here? Jokic will sit. Presumably Lillard will get a little bit of a break as well. Big minutes here now.
Yeah,
both stars
these next
on the bench.
3 minutes, I think.
I always say there really aren't that many minutes that aren't big minutes in the playoffs. But Barton, easy mid-range or wide open, can't get it. Turner recovers. Plumlee racing back behind him. Collins running the floor. That leaves Hood wide open for the 3. Yes, great job by Zach Collins running the floor hard. And the matchups got screwed up because Plumlee went for the rebound and couldn't get it. Hood has been awesome tonight.
Yeah.
Morris into the lane. He floats it up. And what's the call here? I think it's a hold on Rodney Hood, preventing the roll of Plumlee. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, Hood is he's the number 3 scorer on the Blazers in this game. 17 on 5 of 10 from the field.
Millsap back to goal against Turner. Help's gonna have to come. He can overpower him. Beasley replace 3-pointer. Yes. Another above the break from Denver. They now shoot 11 of 21 from above the break threes in this game. Lillard remains on the floor. He'll just jack it up quickly, and this is going to be a 3-shot foul on Beasley. Beasley is appealing to the video board, and we have to look at the lateral view there to see whether he in fact fouled him.
It looked to me like he got Lillard a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and while there have been a few calls that have favored Denver, Lillard has certainly gotten quite the benefit of the doubt, although he missed that first free throw.
Yeah, and so he had zero free throws in the first half, then had 6 in the third quarter, and then these will be 1, 2, 3 of the fourth.
Yeah, the 3-shot foul, basically the most valuable play in the game. Expected points per possession when you consider how good a free throw shooters, generally the guys who are taking threes and draw those fouls, are going to be. You know, you're looking at like 2.5 points per possession there. Lillard gets 2 of those 2.5. Barton looking into the post for Millsap again. Let's see where the help's going to come from. It's Lillard on top. Nice pass by Millsap to Beasley. A hanging left-handed pass. And Seth Curry, just a little moment of indecision between he and Collins before Curry X'd out to the corner, gave Beasley enough room. Collins, and he's going to get called for the offensive foul on that flare screen. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a correct call. I wish the refs are getting better about those. I wish they called it a little bit more often.
Yeah, that's just a ridiculous pass for Millsap that they're showing on the replay. It's a power forward with that kind of skill level to throw that pass. Now they're going right back to the well again. Double team's going to come again up top, it looks like. Lillard gets in there. They swing it. Barton, no advantage gain that time. Millsap rips through, goes to the jump shot to his right.
Denver, I think they've scored on all but one possession so far in this fourth quarter.
So they're going to bring CJ back in and Cantor back in. This matchup is not working of Turner guarding Millsap. And Here's the three. It's way off. Rebound. Turner, he gets stuffed by Millsap. Gets it back. Seth Curry, good close on Barton. Goes to the step back three anyway and hits. And you would think maybe they should go with Turner on Plumlee if Millsap is killing them. But that time, Turner held his own with a little bit of help from up top. Hood looking for Collins. Collins trying to post up. Bad pass. And Morris will be called for the foul anyway. But a better pass there, and that's a layup. He should have thrown it to the corner of the backboard. Yeah, that was... Turner had got beaten on the spin move, and he spun right back into Millsap's path. That was pretty awesome.
That was a really nice block.
Not exactly the height of fundamental post defense. Turner is going to sit now, though. Cantor back in, so they'll match up Collins against Millsap. I don't like that matchup a whole lot better. There's Lillard with the split right at Millsap and scores easily. And Plumlee is just so vulnerable. He just doesn't execute that coverage out on the floor that well. We saw Patty Mills. He couldn't keep him in front on that play. McCollum under. They rescreen. Here's Morris. Goes to the floater. Nice rebound by Collins. Double drag for Lillard. He gets past Millsap right to the lane. Oh, beautiful finish over Plumlee. And Mike Malone is going to have to call for time here as the deficit is cut to 5. And with Jokic out, Denver just a couple of possessions of not scoring. And that's another blow by there by Lillard getting right to the rim. And that's really what he's added to his game over the last few years.
We could see a ridiculous minute total for Lillard in this game, but they need it, you know?
Yeah, and he only played 17 in the first half. So I don't know if you want to give him the whole game here. He's on 34 minutes right now, 8:57 left. But with him having it rolling, maybe they stick with it.
Maybe you try to steal around a mandatory or something like that. Try to give him an
Yeah, maybe that's the thought. But it seems like they have the momentum right now, and I want to see if Malone is going to take Plumlee out. He's now -7 in 19 minutes. Are they going to go back to Murray as well? Murray has only played 26 minutes. Morris is -10. Barton is -8. So, and there's really Harris is 28 minutes. Murray is 26. You can easily go back to all those guys right now. Craig has only played 17 minutes with the 4 personals. So, yeah, I think it would be a mistake for Malone not to just go back to his starters right here. Millsap's only on 26. Like, other than Jokic, I mean, he's played 33. Maybe you just go back to all of your starters except for Jokic right now and try and get him a little bit more of a blow.
Yeah,
because
that
41,
well.
42 minutes is a lot for him. He's also completely dominating too, but we saw him run out of gas. And this is a long series too. And they're, as you noted, until Game 7, they play every other day.
Right, and then they play at altitude this one, last game, this one, and the next one you assume he's used to it, but it still takes more out of you just physically. There's less oxygen in the air.
Just ask this scientist.
Do you think shooters falling down at three-point line a la Harden is preferable to risking landing on their feet injury-wise? I mean, I'm sure falling down as far as they have to is there's a risk in that too, but I would guess that it just the overall risk is lower. I would say if somebody's in your landing zone. But I mean if somebody's not really in your landing zone, then that's probably preferable for health purposes.
Do you think shooters falling down at the three-point line is preferable to risking landing on their feet injury-wise? Yeah, possibly, because if you kind of put your feet forward and fix it so you're going to fall down, you don't put as much weight on your foot as it's landing. So, yeah, I think there's an argument for that. And that's why a lot of these guys, you can say preemptively fall down. That's the ancillary benefit that you probably get the call as well. Now, when Harden, there was no chance that Green was going to hit him on that last second one, right? Green is jumping across him. So that one, he's clearly sticking his legs out in an unnatural way. I mean, that's why it's so difficult to referee that play, of course, because, and when you fall down every time, you can't just base it on the fact that the guy fell down.
Does Denver pick up Millsap's option? I'm thinking that they won't. That they can try to get him on a
I'm
reasonable
starting to
deal.
think they should, actually.
That's so I wrote about that. I wrote their offseason preview if they were going to lose the game 7, and I made the argument that they should. I just don't.
They force Murray to the baseline here. Jokic has returned. Curry on Beasley, forces him to pick up his dribble. Jokic has to go to the fading step back, not there. Portland now can cut into this even more. Lillard attacks, gets past Beasley, but lost it. Bumped into Jokic. Here's Barton going to attack Collins. Collins rejects him. Beautiful left-handed block by Collins. Now Portland has numbers the other way. Cantor into the lane, goes for the fading shot, and it does not drop. And again, Cantor, he had the lefty scoop available if he weren't so limited there. But he's played a gutty game. I'm impressed with what he's been able to do out here. Curry goes for the reach on Morris. Now Morris into the lane. I really just, why Harris and Murray are still on the bench, I have no idea. Now finally we are going to see Murray return. Because somewhat similar to Van Vliet, Morris just isn't quite dynamic enough in those mid-range spots and not dynamic enough of a finisher. Yeah, I mean, that's a great block. Collins goes through. If anything, there's some off-arm contact from Barton. He goes right through it and blocks him. Good job by Cantor getting through the first screen on Jokic. But then Plumlee right down the lane as Collins really overhelped on that Beasley drive.
Yeah, and that's why you attack aggressively. It's not always to get the layup, but to get somebody else to freak out and create a seam.
Yeah, and actually, I take it back. That wasn't an overhelp. He really drove right to the box, so he is supposed to trap the box there. Now that CJ throws it away, the Blazers' turnover blues are back. Jokic gets hit in the face by McCollum. We'll see if they're actually going to review this.
And Portland, they'd only had 3 turnovers in the first, I think it was like 15 minutes of the second half, and then they have 2 in rapid succession there.
Let's see this from McCollum. I mean, he's kind of going for the ball, but he hits him pretty good in the face. And CJ tried to say, hey, are you okay? And Jokic was not having it. He just turned away from him. So, yeah, this is definitely review worthy as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, he hits him. I mean, he's going for the ball, but it hits him square in the face. We're going to see this a lot of different angles. See if we have enough time for a question.
What did I not listen to you on? People.
We answered the same question back to back.
Oh yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Well, certainly during the breaks when we're reading stuff, I can't.
Yeah.
I actually am incapable of reading and listening to people at the same time. You're welcome to make fun of me for not hearing you, though, if you want to.
I actually wanted to hear your answer, so I was actually kind of happy about it.
What question was that?
It was about the landing falling on your butt versus landing on your feet. Yeah. Doesn't matter to me. Then we start talking about that, and I don't give it. That's less interesting than talking about anything else.
So it's going to be
other than this review
one on.
And I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I think so.
Hit a guy square in the face, flagrant one. And so that compounds the error, makes it an even more costly turnover for Portland. Hey, an excuse to show it more times.
Yeah, but that's the right call. That's a wild, reckless swing, but that's going to be huge. Portland had it back to 101-96 since Jokic returned. They score 4 quick points, and now they've got a chance to add to it.
Yeah, Jokic is now up to plus 17 in a game that is a 9-point margin.
Plumlee looks to hand off to Murray, can't. Jokic looking for Beasley now. Beasley into the lane on Cantor. Tough finish attempt, but Plumlee is right there to clean that up. 2 guys reacted. That was both Collins and Cantor. They run into each other. Plumlee gets the dunk, and Stott's gambit of leaving Lillard in here seems not to have paid off, because he's played the entire second half so far. Now they're down 11, and he's going to get some more of a break here. But maybe you leave him in, see if you can get it back in these next few minutes. but you really don't want to tire him out too much. It's a tough decision for him.
Especially in game one of what could end up being a long series. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get back that fatigue gap. You know, once you build it up and you worked a guy a little bit too hard.
Will Jokic benefit from a body transformation similar to early career Kevin Love, or should he keep his body the way it is? I think he does benefit from being able to kind of steamroller guys, but also having more quickness would be good. Being able to jump a little bit more would be good. So no, and also I think you have a lower chance of injury if you're not carrying as much weight around. Although he's been actually very durable in his career, which is part of why he's been so valuable. But no, I think he could stand to cut up and lose 15 pounds or so. I think he still would have plenty of strength.
I lost my spot.
We should rank the coaches. We did that last year on the now defunct Stitcher Premium. Probably won't have a chance to do it until next season, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I said we would do it between now and this time next year. Is Al Horford the best remaining center in the playoffs?
No,
Embiid
Jokic and Embiid are both better.
Yeah, I mean, those were our top two, I believe. So, no. I mean, I love Al Horford, but no.
Now, you could make the argument that maybe he's the most valuable just because of his versatility, that Embiid and Jokic just have too big of weaknesses against the absolute best teams.
And his value to the Celtics in this particular series is incredible. I mean, he was awesome against Giannis in game one. And, I mean, he's done a really good job on him overall, too.
Well, and also Embiid seems limited with the injury, too, so that's not helping matters. He's also limited by Marc Gasol.
Though he did make that awesome pass at the end of the game today.
Yeah, I thought he was dead to rights on that play. That was like he's off balance. He's getting chested up by two guys and somehow throws that pass to Butler for the game. What wasn't quite the game clinching three. We thought it was at the time, but was the winning margin essentially.
Oh, that's a fair point. Somebody said Horford is not more valuable to the Celtics than Jokic is to the Nuggets. Yeah, I mean, Jokic is so important offensively.
Yeah.
That's a totally fair point. Did Kevin Love actually gain that much speed or vertical when he lost the weight? I don't recall that he did. It was more about stamina and durability, though he's had injuries. I don't think they've been related to kind of weight stuff. It's been more like he's had these, like, arm... it was a foot thing this year? Is that what it was?
Who was it?
Kevin Love. What was his injury this year, though?
Toe.
Okay. I don't think that's weight related. Could be, but I don't think so.
Lillard, Plumlee out on the floor against him, gives it up. Plumlee, good job sprinting back into the play. No advantage gained on that action. Now McCollum has to pull up over Murray. McCollum has been very quiet since early in the game, and Plumlee with a nice rebound.
Yeah, CJ 5 of 15, 2 of 7 from 3.
Aminu is back. He's actually guarding Jokic. This is interesting. They're just going to double in the post, and Barton just throws it away.
And Plumlee tried the Euro foul, and they just didn't give it to him.
Now Lillard in transition. Same shot he hit over Dennis Schroeder in Game 5. And Harkless, with great effort, throws it off of Plumlee.
And I think they might... Are they calling a push on Plumlee here?
Yeah, I think you're right. Kenny Maurer has got it. Harris is back. Barton is out after that turnover. And yeah, Plumlee's playing nice, but it's Paul Millsap on the bench, man. Put him in. He's dominated in this game.
And he's only played 26 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Mike Malone. It's going well. We're sticking with it. Harkless goes into Murray, and they're going to call this on Murray?
I believe they are.
Ooh, I mean, it looked like most of the contact was Harkless's elbow to Murray's face. Now, Murray did get him with the off arm. Yeah, they give it.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, I was about to say. Murray hounded by Harkless. And so what they're going to do here, if it comes to it, that Murray Jokic pick and roll, Beasley misses that, but gets his own rebound and scores.
That was a great follow. Probably the benefit of knowing that he just didn't get enough of his legs into it.
Yeah.
Just got there.
I mean, Aminu never reacted. Here's Lillard, spin move on Plumlee, has to pick it up. CJ driving on Harris, and Harris to be called for the foul. So what we're going to see on the other end, by the way, is Aminu guarding Jokic, Harkless on Murray, and so they're just going to switch those pick and rolls now. That's my prediction. We haven't seen it yet, but that's why you go to that look. McCollum, Plumlee out on the floor again, gets his pass deflected by Harris. Now he has to go at Harris again. Another tough floater by CJ McCollum. But Portland's actually going to have to get some stops here. Yeah, there is that switch I predicted. Jokic narrowly avoiding a 3-second call. Harkless leaning on him, and he's going to get called for the foul. Yeah, 2 hands in the back of Jokic. Good call. Marc Gasol is the only one who's allowed to get away with that. But Gasol, as I mentioned, does it very quickly at the moment of contact, so he never gets called for it. That one, you're just leaning on him all day. So now with 5 on Harkless, we'll see. I mean, I think if I'm Denver, I'm going to just go right back to Jokic in the post. Murray, Harris, closed down by McCollum, back to Murray. No switch that time. Yeah, they totally miscommunicated. They totally miscommunicated on that play. I think Harkless just didn't want to get switched on to Jokic, or they felt like there was never any contact on the screen. Here's Lillard, stopped by Jokic, but he's going to get called for the foul. That off arm, again, of Jokic. Oh, no, there was no off arm. There. Ooh, I don't know about that call. That's a beautiful pass, by the way, with Murray sweeping it over 2 defenders who are taller than him. Yeah, Lillard has gotten a very friendly whistle on these drives.
And Lillard overall for the game, 3 for 10 from 3, 7 for 8 inside the arc. And I think 6 of his 10 free throws, or it's going to be 7 of 10, came on 2s or and 1s as opposed to 3-shot fouls.
Yeah.
He got 1 of those.
Lillard hits a couple. But I think Denver's defense has been better in this second half.
Absolutely.
They're sticking with Plumlee. There's the switch back. Now Jokic wants it at the elbow. Traveled as he put the ball on the floor with no call. Murray recovers the loose ball, 5 on the clock, swings it to Harris. Another very nice pass. The Cat's drinking Danny's water, and Portland controls.
Cat attempted to, unsuccessful.
Aminu up top, goes to the drive on Plumlee, into 2 guys. Terrible decision. He had the open 3 and didn't take it. Here's Harris now. He's going right at McCollum. McCollum with a great strip. He's had a couple of those. Aminu almost traveled, and he did travel. Ugh.
Kind of step. And this has been a rough offensive game for Aminu. Pretty rough defensive game as well.
Quite dreadful, in fact. And they need him to play well. We talked about how Lillard is down here now. Hopefully he's okay. I didn't see what happened to him. I'll try and catch that if you.
I think he was just. I thought he was standing to get that pass. He's probably pretty gassed. I mean, he's up to 37 minutes, but he's played the entire second half.
Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't even come close to getting back on defense on that play.
Oh, somebody's saying Mike, but I think they're both on. Always only one person. Usually when it's only one person, then it's...
Yeah, they're both running.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't see anything in particular that happened to Lillard. He just, doubled over. Maybe he took a shot on the previous possession. That's why he didn't get back.
How underpaid is Lou Williams? Should he be a 15 to 20 million a year player? I don't think he's 15 to 20. I mean, that's like clear cuts. Maybe 15, not 20. But 50. I mean, he was their best offensive player last year, and he's been really important. I would put him somewhere in the 15 to 16 range off the top of my head. I mean, he's been. I'd be interested to see where he ranks offensively. Lillard looks tired.
Yeah, someone in the comments said that it looked like he hit heads with somebody.
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna see it here. Oh,
Ooh. That's not good.
Yeah, no, it isn't. And no, that's why you don't drive into 8 guys when you're Al-Farouq Aminu.
Among many reasons.
Same defensive alignment. They try to get Jokic in the post. Oh, and he couldn't handle the pass. He turned to try and drive beforehand. McCollum, with only 4 minutes left, they got to start making up the ground quickly. Finds Harkless. Good verticality from Plumlee, but the tip right back for the Blazers.
Yeah, and I mean, this is stopping a score a couple times in a row is the way to get back in this.
Yeah, stopping them and scoring at the other end is what the Blazers are going to try and do here. Here's Jokic into the lane.
Well, I just mean it's because of how few possessions are left.
Yeah.
Like they're going to, if they give up, any sort of consistent offense, it doesn't matter how well they score. And is this
finally
just Paul Millsap checking in? Good Lord.
Yeah, I just what is the rationale for bringing him back there as Murray gets the elbow jumper wide open? I mean, and that's now just simply those 2-point mid-rangers are actually better shots when you just need to increase your likelihood of scoring on a possession and not necessarily the points per possession as much. Just getting good shots where you're not going to turn the ball over as Cantor is going to go to the foul line here, fouled by Jokic. That shot is a great shot for Denver right now.
Yeah, and that fortunately for Portland, that was a quick foul. I think that was only about 7 seconds after Jamal Murray's shot, but you can't give up much.
So I just want to know, in Mike Malone's mind, what is the reason for deciding to sub Millsap now as opposed to 5 minutes ago or not at all? And to me, this is why you don't go with your rotations unless there's just a very clear matchup where one of the guys is getting killed. You don't really change your rotations up that much based on, just the feel and how the game is kind of going when there's not anything specific that makes Plumlee better than Millsap in that area. Millsap in the corner, Beasley, now Jokic, he's fouled by Harkless, he's gone.
I think it's the right call.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's an interesting thought on the strategy for Stotts, but it's also a desperate one.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go to that and think that that's your best option unless you feel like the conventional stuff just isn't working at all. And this is a nice pass from Beasley, and Harkless has probably got to do a better job. Clear foul on him making these catches tougher.
Well, and he fell down on the play, and so
Yeah.
I think it was him trying to get back in, and when you're trying to get all the way in, and that led to the foul.
So now they're really going to go small. It's going to be Aminu at the 4, Cantor at the 5, and they got the 3-guard unit to try and come back. But as we suspected, Portland just has no chance of stopping Denver right now. And this game puts into stark relief just how big of a failure Oklahoma City had in the first round against this Portland defense that just doesn't have any defensive talent. That you just to not be... I mean, Denver is a very good offensive team, and Jokic is a bear, and he's been awesome tonight. But Portland just hasn't even had a chance. I know they got to be well over a 120 offensive ratings.
And also remember, Portland doesn't force that many turnovers either,
Yeah.
and it's another way you can take advantage.
11-point game with 3 minutes left. Lillard looking to attack Millsap, drives into him. He's going to go to the foul line again, and Dame Lillard has just gotten really good at splitting that trap, and it was a lot harder for him last year because it was Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Those are the two guys making him give the ball up. But yeah, that quick turn, also really important on that play is a good screen as Lillard misses the first free throw. A really good screen on the initial guy, and then you put the big out in space a little bit. Even Paul Millsap, who's good at that, not able to get that done. Interesting also that it looks like Denver is going to go hiding Jokic on Aminu, and they're going with Millsap to get more mobility on that pick and roll. Guarding Cantor, I should say. Murray and Lillard is going to get called for the foul, and here's more free throws for Denver. Lillard is not pleased with that call. We'll have to get another look at it and see. Can't see
that
from
was
that
not
angle.
that was not the angle to learn it.
No. They do not have the ABC reverse angle cameras available, it seems like. Murray, another very efficient game from him. 7 of 12, and he's looking for his 20th point here, plus 19.
Well, not only that, 8 assists, 1 turnover.
I misspoke. This will be his 21st point. Yeah, 8 assists is good for, and I think he's distributed it well.
Yeah.
Now they're just going to switch Dame Lillard. He's going to go right in and score. Again, Jokic, not much rim protection available there. And Lillard probably should have thrown that pass to him. He knew you need threes, but
Well, and at least Portland, like, they're
layup,
scoring quickly, but they need to get at least like a few stops. I mean, look at
Murray
that.
again,
Wide open, in rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, he crossed him up. They're just not sure what they're doing in the pick and roll coverage. That Murray-Jokic pick and roll has just killed them. Lillard, again, he's the guy. If you need anyone in this situation, is more a few years ago even, he's just going to start bombing from deep. And the question is, can they possibly get a stop on the other end? Now it's McCollum guarding Murray. Cantor out on the floor, lucky to avoid a foul. Curry almost had the steal. Jokic with 6 on the clock, gets it to Millsap. Millsap stepping back. Good no foul by Cantor. They've got a chance to push it here. Lillard says, hey, I mean, don't dribble the ball on the floor anymore. Now here's the drag. Jokic is not ready. Oh, the block from behind by Harris on Lillard. I thought Lillard could have taken the first one. He hesitated, and that allowed Harris to get back into the play, and that'll probably do it here now. Jokic dribbling up top against Cantor, 5-1 pick and roll, and Jokic is going to get fouled. He'll go to the foul line, and that's going to do it with these free throws. So a nice opening series win for Denver. Great job by Harris not fouling, and you don't see Dame get blocked on those three-pointers very often.
And so we're not all the way done here yet. I mean, functionally speaking, but
Yeah,
we'll let you know the schedule though. So
Yes.
we are not doing the cast tomorrow or Wednesday. We will be back though Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the plan as of now.
Yeah, that should be pretty fun. Saturday night will be Warriors Rockets. 11-point Denver lead. McCollum into the lane. That's a
That was a nice
beautiful finish. And McCollum tries to flop and draw a foul. Hey, why not? They throw it ahead to Harris, Curry, and wow, that wasn't a foul.
It looked like he got a lot. It looks like he got a lot of hand there to me, but yeah. And we'll have Dunked On tonight. We'll talk about both of these games. I don't know if there's news that we have to get to.
Other than the there's a few things. The Blake surgery we can
Oh
probably
yeah, and
hit
we could
on.
do the injuries, the athletic training staff thing. We could do.
Well, and this the referee report.
Oh yeah.
That'll be great to talk about. I'm sure everyone will agree with exactly what we say. Craig, three-pointer, not there, but they run plenty of time down. Lillard, they just run him off the three-point line. That's all you have to do. Another turnover for Portland. Those have killed them. Murray with the three. That was an interesting decision. Now Curry will get his three instead, and Murray fouls him. That was a very stupid 10 seconds for Jamal Murray. Malone with a bemused look on his face. Still, I don't
think this is gonna lead to it, but mistakes and three shot fouls. Those are keys to a comeback. I don't expect it to happen, but
yeah, I mean
it was also such a hilariously late contest.
Yeah, but Seth Curry is gonna have to turn in his Curry family membership after that free throw miss. Yeah, we'll have to talk about this on Dunked On of whether your feelings on this series have changed after watching this game. For Lillard, 39 points in 42 minutes, 12 of 21 from the field, 11 of 13 from the foul line. but it was McCollum who I thought needed to have a better game. And I liked the strategy here of putting your best guy on McCollum rather than Lillard, because with Lillard, it's going to be pick and roll, and having your best guy on him doesn't help that much when the screen is being set all the time. CJ is a little bit more of an ISO guy. So we'll talk about this more on Dunked On. Thanks for joining us, as always.